Love it.
That's one way to start a podcast.
Yes, it is. Hello and welcome to the Gaming Kin podcast. As always, I didn't even say podcast right. Oh dear, this is going so well.
Oh fuck!
Right. Okay. We will start this again.
Oh, this is such a shit show. Oh my god.
Oh. It's a good thing this is the last one for 2018.
Yeah, fuck.
Hello and welcome to the Gaming Kin podcast. As always, I'm your host Jack, and with me as always is Mark.
Hello.
And as you've probably guessed, we are having a laugh on our last podcast of the year. We should realistically be probably having one like the 28th of December. That's right slap bang in the middle between Christmas and New Year, and
We busy.
that's I'm working that Saturday.
All right.
It's the only shift I'm working all week because I seem to have got all week off. Other than that, it's fantastic. I'm going to be playing so much Switch games.
Basically, it's our break. We can chill.
Yeah, it's going to be an extra week off to chill.
Like we'll hang out, but yeah, we won't be doing anything
But we will
proper
be
like this.
back 2 weeks after that, which will probably be the 15th.
Is that
No.
far away? Oof. Wasn't
No,
Is it 12th?
13th,
What's it?
12th,
12th?
13th ish.
Yeah, something like that.
Like the second Saturday of.
Or we could just
January.
make it the first week of January. I'm not too fussed.
Well, no. The first week of January, I'll still be drunk from New Year's. No, it'll be the second Saturday in January. We will be back.
You'll sober up by then.
I'll have sobered up by then,
Crawled out a little bottle. Like, it's
And we will-
2019.
and we will be covering all the news from this podcast till then.
So
Well,
yeah,
not all the news, but
what
a
stuff
lot.
we like,
the important news that happened over Christmas.
or the stuff we like.
Anthem's got a surprise release on Christmas Day. No, could you imagine?
Don't even toy with me. Damn.
You do realise if that happened,
I'd be gutted because I ain't getting it.
I would be buying it on on Boxing Day, and then doing a live stream of it, or I'd be buying it on Christmas Day, like digital download, and be doing a live stream of it.
That'd be you until like New Year's. You've like finally come out your room just like,
I completed Anthem.
it was amazing.
4 days.
I've not slept.
I'm all hopped up on caffeine. Yeah. No, I'll probably be playing. I might get Smash Bros before Christmas. I mean, I've got Pokemon Let's Go.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll probably have completed it before that, but
Well, you say completed. You may have completed the story.
I'll have completed the Elite Four.
Yeah. The challenges.
All that. But the
Ugh.
post-game challenges I will be working on after that.
That'll take you a while.
Yeah, I'll be still playing that bit, but I'll have completed the story.
Yeah.
Might get World of Final Fantasy Maxima Edition
Ooh.
and play that on the Switch.
Cool. Very cool.
But no, I'll probably be like that week off. I'll be playing a lot of Switch and PlayStation stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Might reactivate my Final Fantasy 14 subscription and play some of that.
Because the deal.
Because Shadowbringers is coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The trailer
I keep
for
wanting to
that.
call it Stormbreakers.
No.
Shadowbringers is coming.
The
Blue
trailer
Mage
for
is
that
coming.
looks amazing.
Yes.
I was actually so hyped up. I thought it was a separate game. I was like, oh my god, it was amazing. And then
Yeah.
you're all like, mate, that's
know.
DLC.
That was. Oh man, I felt.
I'm just fucking sitting there going, no.
Yeah, because you texted me going, dude, the trailer for Final Fantasy 16 looks so amazing. I'm like, yeah, that's the third expansion. The fourth expansion.
Like, fuck. Actually, that's the second.
Third. No, that's the third.
Yeah, it's the second worst upset you've gave me today. I don't know if we're covering that in the stories, are we?
Yes, we've saved it for last because it isn't a gaming story. However, we are going to discuss it because I do want
No,
to
that's
discuss
not.
it.
That's not a second. That's not a bit worst upset you gave me. In the game I thought I'd be able to get in the PlayStation, and then it turns out it's a Switch exclusive.
Oh, that one.
That is
Yeah,
upsetting
we're not
as
talking
fuck.
about that one.
I just mentioned that then. I seen the trailer for Marvel Ultimate Alliance free. I've played the first two. They were fucking amazing. I loved them. Seen the trailer for the third one. Excitement and chaos ensue. I'm thinking, oh my god, I'm going to get it. It's going to be amazing. Get over here. Look through the articles Jack's got saved up. What do I find? It's a Switch exclusive.
Yay!
God fucking damn it.
You do know that means you can still play it.
Yeah, I just need to come over here and play
It
it.
just means you have to come over here and play it.
Yeah. Oh, raging.
I'll have you
though.
over any time for a gaming session, man.
Fuck. That would be pretty decent though. Don't even know when it comes out, but still, damn.
But yeah, we don't have a lot of news because we're not. I don't know. We've decided to strip it back a bit because it is our last one.
And the fact their general ones have. See, what I've noticed is in our usual podcast, we start off kind of chipper and upbeat, but after like the second hour, we wane and we're like,
Not enough caffeine left in the house.
and you're just kind of like, you feel yourself kind of like going down.
Yeah.
So I think I actually kind of prefer this. We'll see how it goes, but if it works, I think this should be like our new format.
Yeah. We have made another slight tweak to the format.
Yeah.
Our topic is one we should have probably actually covered at Halloween, because it would do well for Halloween. And we're going to talk about creepypastas. So what we're going to do is one creepypasta, a couple of news stories, a creepypasta, another couple of news stories, another creepypasta, and a couple of news stories. And then we're going to do a couple of impromptu things.
Mhm.
Well, I say impromptu. We've pre-planned them, but we've not like taken any notes or script to any of it.
Yeah.
So it's off the cuff, but we know it's coming.
Yeah.
And we'll get to that later. But why don't we start with our first creepypasta?
Yeah, also additional format is, I know basically, fuck all about these creepypastas. So be mostly Jack talking about them and me, being an ever-loving student, just being like, wow, cool, and just basically asking about it because I don't know fuck all about these gaming creepypastas.
Yeah. The one thing I love about the internet is like I know a fair few creepypastas and stuff, but I got to like sit for a while on the internet and just go through creepypasta wikia and another site which is called some ordinary gamers wikia. So they're
cool.
both fandom sites. The wikia.com, which is like the best kind of rip off of Wikipedia, I suppose. When it comes to being more honed in on a specific subject that you want to talk about.
Well, imitation is a sincerest form of flattery,
It
so
is, and
they're both free sites, so why not?
yeah, and the like I'm saying, the wiki sites, they're all kind of, because it's like creepypasta.wikia. I use the Final Fantasy one a lot, so it's finalfantasy.wikia.
Or for me, so any website to do with Divinity.
Yeah.
If it's like walkthrough or just general quest knowledge, wikis all the time, for fuck's
Yeah.
sake, man. It's
So,
impossible otherwise.
I would like to give a shout out to the guys at Wikia, or fandom, whatever they prefer to be called.
Or whoever made up by whole idea of Wikipedia in the first place, who generated all the shit.
Yeah.
Peace, man. Thank you.
You've been a
or
great
woman.
help to our research.
Person, group. That one will stop.
Well, Wikia was started by one guy.
There was definitely a guy? Ah.
It was a guy, yeah. I'm
Okay.
sure it was a guy.
I have no idea. That's why I'm just going with person.
100% positive.
I know nothing else, but it was a dude. You sure?
Yes. I can Google it if you want.
As long as you're sure. Oh, he's whapping the phone out. He's touching some buttons. He's going silent with a grin on his face.
Who invented
Silence ensues.
Wikipedia? Jimmy Wales.
I like the idea if you Wikipedia'd Wikipedia.
Actually, the first article is History of Wikipedia on Wikipedia.
Huh. That's kind of cool, actually.
But yeah, Jimmy Wales.
Huh. Cool.
Told you it was a guy.
Oh, thank you, Jimmy Wales.
I couldn't remember his name. I just remembered it was a guy. Okay. But anyway, back to the top.
Yeah, back to the topic at hand before we
our-
go on a tangent again.
Our first creepypasta
Uh-huh.
is based around Legend of Zelda,
Okay.
particularly the Majora's Mask game,
Ooh, okay, cool.
and it's called Bend Round.
Okay, I have heard a little bit about this, but this should be interesting.
I'm going to read the creepypasta itself
Mhm.
off the site
Yep.
because it's far too much for me to remember and tell it properly without reading it.
I get you, man. I get you. I'm horrible at that as well.
So I will read this out and we'll continue on after that.
Cool, cool.
Let me find my glasses first. Bend Round, or Haunted Majora's Mask, is a well-known creepypasta created by Axel Hall, also known as Jadusable. The story revolves around a Majora's Mask cartridge that is haunted by the ghost, if it is a ghost, of a boy named Ben. Okay, I need your help with this. This is not creepypasta. This is a long read, but I feel like my safety or well-being could very well depend on this. This is video game related, specifically Majora's Mask. And this is the creepiest shit that has ever happened to me in my entire life. Having said that, I recently moved into my dorm room starting as a sophomore in college, and a friend of mine gave me his old N64 to play. I was stoked, to say the least. I could finally play all those old games of my youth that I hadn't touched in at least a decade. His N64 came with one yellow controller and a rather shoddy copy of Super Smash Bros. And while beggars can't be choosers, needless to say, it didn't take long until I became bored of beating up level 9 CPUs. That weekend I decided to drive around a few neighbourhoods for about 20 minutes or so off campus, hitting up the local garage sales, hoping to score some good deals from ignorant parents. I ended up picking up a copy of Pokemon Stadium, GoldenEye, F-Zero, and 2 other controllers for $2. Satisfied, I began to drive out the neighbourhood when one last house caught my attention. I still have no idea why it did. There were no cars, and only one table was set up with random junk on it, but something sort of drew me there. I usually trust my gut in these things, so I got out of the car and I was greeted by an old man. His outward appearance was, for a lack of a better word, displeasing. It was odd. If you asked me to tell you why I thought he was displeasing, I couldn't really pinpoint anything. There was just something about him that put me on edge. I can't explain it. All I can tell you is if it wasn't in the middle of the afternoon and there were other people within shouting distance, I would not even have thought of approaching this man. He flashed a crooked smile at me and asked what I was looking for, and immediately I noticed he must be blind in one of his eyes. His right eye had that glazed over look about it. I forced myself to look to his left eye instead, trying not to offend, and asked him if he had any old video games. I was already wondering how I could politely excuse myself from the situation when he told me he had no idea what a video game was, but to my surprise, he said he had a few old ones in a box. He assured me he'd be back in a jiffy and turned to head back to the garage. I watched him hobble away. I couldn't help but notice that he was selling on his table. Littered across his table were rather peculiar paintings, various artworks that looked like ink blots that psychiatrists might show to you. Curious, I looked through them, and it's obvious why no one was visiting this guy's garage sale. These weren't exactly aesthetically pleasing. As I came to the last one, for some reason it almost looked like Majora's Mask, the same heart-shaped body with little spikes protruding outward. Initially I thought that since I was secretly hoping to find that game at these garage sales, some Freudian bullshit was projecting itself into the ink blots. But given the events that happened afterwards, I'm not so sure now. I should have asked the man about it. I wish I could have asked the man about it. After staring at the Majora-shaped blot, I looked up and the old man was suddenly there again, arm's length in front of me, smiling at me. I'll admit, I jumped out of reflex and laughed nervously as he handed me a Nintendo 64 cartridge. It was the standard grey colour, except that someone had written Majora on it in black permanent marker. I got butterflies in my stomach and I realised what a coincidence this is and asked him how much he wanted for it. The old man smiled at me and told me I could have it for free, that it used to belong to a kid who was about my age that didn't live here anymore. There was something weird about how the man phrased that, but I didn't really pay attention to it then. I was too caught up not only finding this game, but getting it for free. I reminded myself to be a bit skeptical since this looked like a pretty shady cartridge and there's no guarantee it would work. But then the optimist inside me interjected that maybe it was some kind of beta version or pirated version of the game, and that all I needed to be back on cloud 9. I thanked the man, and the man smiled at me and wished me well, saying goodbye then. At least that's what it sounded like to me. All the way in the car ride home, I had a nagging doubt that the man had said something else. My fears were confirmed when I booted up the game. To my surprise, it worked just fine. And there was one save file named simply Ben. Goodbye, Ben. He was saying goodbye, Ben. I felt bad for the man, obviously a grandparent and obviously going senile, and I, for some reason or another, reminded him of his grandson Ben. Out of curiosity, I looked at the save file, eyeballing it. I could tell he was pretty far in the game. He had almost all of the masks, and about quarter remains of the bosses. I noticed that he'd used an owl statue in his game. He was on day 3 by the stone tower temple, with hardly an hour left before the moon would crash. I remember thinking that it was a shame that he had come so close to beating the game, but he never finished it. I made a new file named Link out of tradition and started the game, ready to relive my childhood. For such a shady looking cartridge, I was impressed at how smoothly it ran. Literally just like a retail copy of the game save, for a few minor hiccups here and there, like textures being where they shouldn't be, random flashes of cutscenes at odd intervals, but nothing too bad. However, the only thing that was a little unnerving was at times NPCs would call me Link, and other times they would call me Ben. I figured it was just a bug, a fluke in programming causing our files to get mixed up or something. It did kind of creep me out though after a while, and it was around after I'd beaten the Woodfall Temple that I regrettably went into the save files and deleted Ben. I had intended to preserve the file just out of respect for the game's original owner. It's not like I needed 2 files anyway. Hoping that would solve the problem. It did, and it didn't. Now NPCs wouldn't call me anything, where my name should be there in a dialogue, it was just a blank space. My save file name was still called Link though. Frustrated and with homework to do, I put the game down for the day. I started playing the game again last night, getting the lens of truth and working my way towards completing the Snowhead Temple. Now, some of you more hardcore Majora's Mask players know about the 4th day glitch. For those who don't, you can Google it, but the gist of it is that right as the clock is about to hit 000 on the final day, you talk to the astronomer and look through the telescope. If you time it right, the countdown disappears, and you essentially have another day to finish whatever you were doing. Deciding to do the glitch to try and finish the Snowhead Temple, I happened to get it right on the first time, and the time counter at the bottom disappeared. However, when I pressed B to exit the telescope, instead of being greeted by the astronomer, I found myself in the Majora boss fight room at the end of the game, the trippy boxed in arena, and staring at Skull Kid hovering above me. There was no sound, just him floating in the air above me, and the background music was regular for the area, but still creepy. Immediately, my palms began to sweat. This was definitely not normal. Skull Kid never appeared here. I tried moving around the area, and no matter where I went, Skull Kid would always be facing me, looking at me, not saying anything. Nothing would happen though, and I kept this up for around 60 seconds. I thought the game had bugged or something, but I was beginning to doubt that very much. I was about to reach for the reset button when the text appeared on my screen. You're not sure why, but you apparently had a reservation. I instantly recognized that text. You get that message when you get the room key from Anju at the Stockpot Inn. But why was it playing here? I refused to entertain the notion that it was almost as if the game was trying to communicate with me. I started to navigate the room again, testing it to see if that was some sort of trigger that enabled me to interact with something there. And I realised how stupid I was. To even think that someone could reprogram the game like this was absurd. Sure enough, 15 seconds later, another message appeared on the screen. And again, like the first one, it was already a pre-existing phrase. Go to the lair of the temple's boss. Yes, no. I paused for a second, contemplated what I should press and how the game would react. When I realised that I couldn't select no, taking a deep breath, I pressed yes, and the screen faded to white with the words "Dawn of a New Day" with the subtext I underneath it. Where I was ported to filled me with the most intense sense of dread and impending fear I had ever experienced. The only way I can describe the way I felt here is having this feeling of inexplicable depression on a profound scale. I'm not normally a depressed person, but the way I felt here was a feeling that I didn't even know existed. It was such a twisted, powerful presence that seemed to wash over me. I appeared in some kind of weird Twilight Zone version of Clocktown. I walked out of the clock tower, as you normally do when you start from day one, only to find that all of the inhabitants were gone. Usually, with the fourth day glitch, you can still find the guards and the dog that runs around outside the tower. This time they were all gone. What replaced them was the ominous feeling that there was something out there, in the same area as me, and that it was watching me. I had 4 hearts to my name and a hero's bow, but at this point I wasn't even considered for my avatar. I felt that I personally was in some kind of danger. Perhaps the most chilling thing was the music. It was the Song of Healing, ripped straight from the game itself, but played in reverse. The music would get louder, building up so as if you should expect something to pop out at you, but nothing ever did, and the constant loop began to wear on my mental state. Every now and then I would hear the faint laugh of the happy masked salesman in the background. Just quiet enough so that I wasn't sure if I was just hearing things, but just loud enough to keep me determined to find them. I looked in all 4 corners of Clocktown only to find nothing. No one. Textures were missing. West Clocktown had me walking on air. The area felt broken. Hopelessly broken. As the reverse Song of Healing repeated for what must have been the 50th time, I just remember standing in the middle of South Clocktown, realising that I'd never felt so alone in a video game before. As I walked through the ghost town, I don't know whether it was a combination of the out-of-place textures and the atmosphere and the haunting melody of the once peaceful and soothing song being butchered and distorted, but I was literally on the verge of tears and I had no idea why. I hardly ever cry. Something had gripped me here in this powerful sense of depression that was both foreign and crippling. I tried leaving Clocktown, but every time I attempted to zone out, the screen would fade to black and I would just zone in to another part of Clocktown. I tried playing my ocarina. I wanted to escape, and I did not want to be here. But every time I played the Song of Time or the Song of Soaring, it would only say, "Your notes echo far, but nothing happens." By this point, it was obvious the game didn't want me to leave, but I had no idea why it was keeping me here. I didn't want to go inside the buildings. I felt that I would be too vulnerable there to whatever I was terrified of. I don't know why, but I came up with the idea that maybe if I drowned myself at the laundry pool, I could spawn somewhere else and leave this place. As I zoned in and ran towards the pool, that's when it happened. Link grabbed his head, the screen flashed for a brief moment of the happy masked salesman smile at me. Not Link, me, with the Skull Kid screams playing in the background. And then when the screen returned, I was staring at the Link statue from playing the song Elegy of Emptiness. I screamed as the thing just stared back at me with that haunting facial expression. I turned around and ran out and back into South Clocktown. And to my horror, the fucking statue followed me in the only way I can compare this is like the Weeping Angels from Doctor Who. Every so often, at random intervals, the animation would play of the statue appearing behind me. It was like the thing was chasing me. I don't even want to fucking say it. Haunting me. By this point, I was on the verge of hysterics. But not even once did the thought of turning off the console occur to me. I don't know why, I was so wrapped up in it. The terror felt also real. I tried to shake the statue, but it would literally appear right behind me, and every single time. Link started to begin to make weird animations I had never seen him do before. He would flail his arms around or spasm randomly, and the screen would cut to the happy masked salesman smiling again for a brief moment before I was face to face with the fucking statue again. I ended up running into the Swordmaster's dojo and ran to the back. I don't know why, but in my panic, I just wanted some kind of assurance that I'm not alone here. To my dismay, I found no one, but as I turned to leave, the statue cornered me in the cubby in the back. I tried attacking the statue with my sword, but to no avail. Confused and backed into a corner, I just stared at the statue waiting for it to kill me. Suddenly, the screen flashed again to the happy masked salesman, and Link turned to face my screen. Standing upright, mirroring the statue, looking at me along with his copy, literally staring at me. Whatever was left of the fourth wall was completely shattered while I ran out of the dojo terrified. Suddenly, the game warped me to an underground tunnel, and a reverse song of healing queued up again, and I was given a brief moment of rest before the statue started appearing behind me again, this time aggressively. I could only take a few steps before it would summon behind me again. I hurriedly made my way out of the tunnel and appeared in southern Clocktown. As I ran aimlessly, in a sheer panic, suddenly a re-dead screamed and the screen faded to black as Dawn of a New Day appeared again. The screen faded in and I was standing on top of Clock Tower, with Skull Kid hovering above me again. Silent. I looked up and the moon was back, looming just meters above my head, but the Skull Kid just stared at me, haunting, with that fucking mask. A new song was playing. The Stone Tower Temple theme played in reverse. In some sort of desperate attempt, I equipped my bow and fired a shot off at the Skull Kid, and it actually hit him. He played an animation of him reeling back. I fired again, and on the third arrow, a text box appeared saying, "That won't do you any good, hee hee." And I was picked up off the ground, levitated upwards on my back, and then Link screamed as he burst into flames, instantly killing him. I jumped when this happened. I had never seen this move used by anyone in the game, and Skull Kid himself doesn't have any moves. As the death screen played, my lifeless body still burning, the Skull Kid laughed, and the screen faded to black, only to have me reappear in the same place. I decided to charge him, but the same thing happened. Link's body was lifted off the ground by some unknown force, and immediately he burst into flames again, killing him. This time during the death scenes, the faint sounds of the reverse song of healing could be heard. On my third and final try, I noticed there was no music playing this time, that all there was eerie silence. I remembered the original encounter with Skull Kid. You were supposed to use the ocarina to either travel back in time or summon the giants. I attempted to play the Song of Time, but before I could hit the last note, Link's body once again horrifically exploded into flames and died. As the death scene neared its end, it began to chug, as if the cartridge was trying to process a lot of something. When the screen came to, it was the same scene as the first 3 times, except this time, Link was lying on the ground, dead, in a position I'd never seen in the game before, his head tilted towards the camera with Skull Kid floating above him. I couldn't move, I couldn't press any buttons, all I could do is stare at Link's dead body. After around 30 seconds of this, the game simply fades out with the message, "You've met with a terrible fate, haven't you?" before kicking you out to the title screen. Upon getting back to the title screen and starting again, I noticed my save file was no longer there. Instead of Link, it was replaced with Your Turn. Your Turn had 3 hearts, no masks, no items. I selected Your Turn, and immediately when I did, I was returned to the Clock Tower rooftop, scene of my dead Link and the Skull Kid hovering over. The Skull Kid's laughing, looping again and again. I quickly hit the reset button, and when the game booted up, there was one more save file added below Your Turn, entitled Ben. Ben's save file is right back where it was before I deleted it, at the Stone Tower Temple, with the moon almost crashing. I turned the game off at this point. I'm not superstitious, but this is way too fucked up even for me. I haven't played it all today. Hell, I didn't even get any sleep last night. I kept hearing the reverse song of healing music in my head, and remembering the sense of dread I felt exploring Clocktown. I drove back to the old man's house today to ask him some questions with a buddy of mine. No way was I going there alone. Only to find that there's a for sale sign in the front yard, and when I rang the door, no one was home. So now I'm back here writing down the rest of my thoughts and recording what happened. Sorry if some of this has grammatical errors and whatnot. I'm running on no sleep here. I'm terrified of this game, even more so now that I relived it a second time writing this all down. But I feel like there's still more than meets the eye. and that there's something calling me to investigate this further. I think Ben is something in this equation, but I don't know. And if I could get a hold of the old man, and then I would be able to find some answers. I need another day or so to recuperate before tackling this game again. It's already taken a toll on my sanity, I feel like, but next time I do this, I'm going to be recording my footage all the way through. The idea to record only came to me towards the end, so you see the last few minutes of what I saw, including Skull Kid and the elegy statue. But it's on YouTube now. I'm going to stay in this thread a little while longer before I fall asleep to answer any questions you guys might have, or hopefully listen to your ideas and theories to help shed some light on this, or maybe things I should try to do. I think I'm going to play Ben's file tomorrow and see what happens. Maybe I was supposed to do that all along. I don't believe in paranormal shit, but this is a little fucked up. But maybe this Ben guy is really just a good hacker/programmer. I really don't want to think about what the alternatives are. That's the end of... Yeah. That's the end of the first post.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot more to go through. 3, 5...
Damn, son.
Yeah, I'm not going to go through the rest of it. Anyone that's interested in hearing more about it can go and read it.
Basically, you get the gist. It's quite horrifying.
In fact, I will read one more bit. I'm going to read the... I think I'm going to read it if I can find it. No, I can't find it. And it's probably further up than I intended it to be. But yeah, it's a really, I think it's a really good creepypasta. It does it's written really well. There are some grammatical errors and stuff, but it's all on purpose to make it look like the person who's affected has had no sleep, is terrified
Basically
for
struggling
life.
there.
Yeah. So, because you find some that have grammatical errors and stuff, and it's just people not being fluent in English.
Either way, or it's just sometimes people are more eloquent when they talk, but sometimes in writing it goes the other way.
Yeah, it could be that as well. But I like how they've taken that trope of some creepypastas not being in perfect English and using that as a as part of the story. Yeah.
So yeah, that was
Bend round.
horrific. Quite honestly, only one thing unfortunately we didn't actually get to. The drowning part.
Yeah. Not just that. Also, like the most famous line from that creepypasta. You shouldn't have done that.
Well, let's go chilling.
But yeah, I fully recommend finding just searching on YouTube for it, or going to creepypasta.wikia.com /wiki/Ben Drowned. Ben all capitals _drowned. I don't know. It just it's one of those ones that from the moment I heard it, I really liked it. And that's pretty much it. Like, I can't really say anything about it other than that. Really.
Horrific, scary, filled with general what the fuckness.
And that's what you should have after a good creepypasta.
Yeah, I mean, goddamn.
But yeah, so that took me about 25 minutes to read.
Yeah, that was post 1 of 4.
That was post 1.
Not adding in the other crap.
Like there was also like conversations and things like that as well. So yeah, there's 5 posts.
Oh, for fuck.
And you've got like a kind of conversation with a thing called Cleverbot. Cleverbot is just messing with this guy, and yeah, it's really, really, really cool. I can't really say much more about it. I'm just going over the same point again and again. Really,
It's good. It's scary. It's what it's meant to be.
it's definitely worth a read. But it is a long read to read the whole thing because the posts do generally get longer and longer as you go along.
I mean, it was a good read, but again, this kind of one was very specific to a certain game. If like me, you've got like fuck all knowledge about any of the series, and it's gonna sound good, but you're gonna be like, okay, what's that meant to do?
Yeah.
What's this meant to do?
Well,
Right, masks. There's four. There's one. I'm so confused. Why is a mountain falling? What is a skull kid? Why does he have no moves? I'm so confused.
well, unfortunately, I've not actually played Majora's Mask myself. I've played Ocarina of Time. I've played
The new one.
no, not the new one. I've not played Breath of the Wild yet.
Chickos.
I was going to play it on the Wii U because my brother has it on the Wii U.
You should. That does look
But
amazing.
then I was going to steal it off my sister's boyfriend because he's got it on the Switch. But I don't really want to ask him for it.
You know, you said steal, yeah. You don't ask.
Yeah, no.
That's called borrowing, Jack. Just so you know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna steal this. Can I steal it? Yes. Awesome.
what I do.
Stole it. That's not stealing.
That's what I do. I go, yo, dude, see if you're not playing that. Can I steal it for a couple of weeks?
That's called borrowing.
Yeah, I know.
My friend there. It's
Yes,
borrowing.
I know. But no, it was the one on the Wii, Twilight Princess, and I've played the original Zelda on the NES.
Damn. Well, it does explain the grey hair if you played it when it first came out.
I'm not that old, and I still played my NES up until I was about 5, and I was born 3 years after the NES came out.
Well, fair enough. One.
Just saying. But no, I've got Switch Online. I've got Nintendo Switch Online, which has the NES on it.
Ah, gotcha.
And Zelda was one of the first games that came with it. Right, I'll find you that charger, Mark.
I was trying to be subtle.
Yeah, I know, but I'm going to stop talking and walk away for the mic, so I might as well point it out.
Okay, and hopefully this will work. But unfortunately, my phone is a Sony. It's one of those weird ones where not everything fits.
It's a USB-C, and it's USB-C is the best.
He says words, but they mean nothing to me.
Good.
Good. Your knowledge is lacking. This is good.
It's good that I know more than you about something.
You know more than me, but many subjects. Especially if it's technical related, because I'm just like,
Like that this is another subject I know more than you about.
I don't really know much more. Cool. When it comes to like stuff, I'm very varied, and why not? I don't know more than anyone else. I just know some little bits and pieces. That's awesome. Thank you very much.
No problem, dude.
Yeah, I'm very much a how to put it. I was gonna say a jack of all trades, but I think I'll be too on the nose.
Jack of all trades, master of none. I'm a living, breathing red mage.
I like it.
Is it charging? If it's not, I can plug it into the PlayStation instead of the PC.
No, it's not charging, even though the weird menu came up saying what does it want to do, or what should it do.
Charge.
Yeah, it's not charging.
Do you want me to plug it into the PlayStation?
I don't even know if it's like. Yeah, I'll just even plug it back in, see if that works.
It might be because of the thing I'm using, because it generally doesn't do
Charge with device. Okay, it's charging now, but I don't know if it's one of those ones like if I set it down, it'll go like, no.
It was fine
right.
last time, it should be fine this time.
Sure. That's a fair point.
But should we move on to a couple of news stories?
Sounds awesome.
So the first one we're going to talk about is Epic Games.
Okay.
And
that company responsible for the plague. Well, that's Fortnite.
well, you you should be thanking that plague, Fortnite, for its being so viral that people want to play it cross-platform. Because now, thanks to that, we now have cross-platform play. And because of that, Epic are opening up Fortnite's cross-platform services to other developers.
Yeah, well, it's still no.
I
Like
think
literally,
it's-
in the photo you've shown me, a guy has a mask that's a tomato with a mustache.
I'm not showing you that picture. That's just the picture on the article I've stolen from Polygon. I've stolen. Right, I'm gonna just admit right now I've stolen all these articles from Polygon because I did all of this in 15 minutes last night.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, stolen from Polygon. Polygon sometimes do good journalism.
Actually, before we continue, can I actually pop this into someone else because it's like it says charge, but not way you'd think it'd go up. Yeah.
I want it.
It's like it's got power going through it, but none of it's kind of storing. If you get me, I don't know the technical lingo for that.
It's not charging.
Well, yeah, it says it's charging, but nothing's charging.
Yeah, because it's not charging. It just means it's plugged in.
Oh.
It's running off mains power.
Ah. Yeah. Okay. I know very little.
There we go.
Okay.
Turn the PlayStation on.
Always more beneficial. Let's see if this
Actually,
works.
it's probably still charging if it's in rest mode because I don't
Right.
think I think it's been less than 3 hours since I
Charge
turned it off.
device. Right. So this works. I shall leave it for a few minutes, and get back to you. Right. Oh crap.
It's fine
Okay.
because I turned the PlayStation on. It's switched my telly to the PlayStation.
The superior console.
It does it when I do my Switch as well.
The old console.
They've both got copy television state. So if I turn it off, it'll turn the consoles off.
That's quite good
If I
actually.
turn the telly on, whichever console I was using last will turn on. And if I turn the console on, it'll turn the telly on.
That is really quite useful. I'll need to remember that.
On PlayStation, it's called HDMI device link,
Gotcha.
and on Switch, it's match device power state.
Ah, okay. Cool, cool,
I'm
cool.
pretty sure Xbox has it as well, but I don't own an Xbox, so I don't know what it's called.
Something.
Probably HDMI device link. It would do the same
Nah.
with my PC if I ran my PC to my telly through HDMI,
Mm-hmm.
but because I don't have a HDMI cable long enough, I'm running it VGA, so it won't do it that way.
Mm.
But I could do it PC as well.
Mm.
But yes,
Anyway, back to the actual thing.
back to the news. Epic Games are going to be making it easier for developers to build cross-platform play into their games as of next year.
Mm-hmm.
They are going to launch a large set of cross-platform game services built for Fortnite, and obviously we've seen how Fortnite has been with cross-platform. It's been even more popular.
Sadly.
So, yeah, this will all be free for all developers, open to all engines, all platforms, all stores. However, I do imagine since this is an Epic thing,
Mm-hmm.
it will run best in Unreal Engine.
Probably.
So, yeah, that's what they're doing. So, here's the features that they plan to roll out to other developers. Cross-platform login, friends, presence, profile, and entitlements.
Okay.
This is provides core functionality for persistently recognizing players across multiple sessions and devices, identifying friends, managing free and paid item entitlements. This will support all 7 major platforms: PC, Mac, iOS, Android, PlayStation, Xbox, and Switch.
Nice.
To the full extent each platform allows per title. And that will be rolling out between Q2 and Q3
Mm-hmm.
to PC and all other platforms as from probably Q2 to Q4 at different points, but they will be probably focusing more on the PC one because it's kind of building the infrastructure for a PC. Like building software for a PC is harder than building it for like a PlayStation or an Xbox because every PlayStation uses the same infrastructure
Mm-hmm.
as does every Xbox, every Switch, every Mac, every iOS, most Androids, but PCs can be totally custom built. You've got AMD, Intel, or Radeon graphics. You've got processors as well, and because there's so many different configurations and not everything likes to play nice with each other, they do have to put a lot more work into it, so that they've got a time scale in mind for the PC because they have to do so much work on it. Everything else is just whenever it comes out. Next up is the PC and Mac Overlay API. So it provides a user interface for login, friends, and other features in a game agnostic, engine agnostic way. So it doesn't matter what game or engine you're using, it will work. It will work as well, regardless. You will be able to put some script into it, depending on what you're using it for. So if you have like a premium item store, you can put a link straight to that on it. Graphic, color, music, all of that kind of stuff.
So basically, you can just install the customization kind of shit then.
Yeah. Cross-platform voice comms. That's Q3 2019 to all platforms. Epic is building a new in-game voice communication service supporting all platforms, stores, and engines.
So you can hear like little kids calling you wankers and stuff in different consoles.
Yes. Or say it's just the two of us in a co-op session of some game that I'm playing on
Switch.
PC and I'm playing on the Switch. You're playing it on
PC. Fucking hell.
Yeah, I don't have a good enough PC to do that yet. I'm playing it on the Switch. You're playing it on PS4.
Yeah.
It means we'll be able to chat through a game chat.
Nice.
And we can strategize if, say, Diablo 3 went cross-platform.
Ooh, that'd be decent. Damn, son.
So, say that went cross-platform. I got it on the Switch.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure you've got that on
PS4.
PlayStation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we could chat and game through that. Obviously, it won't be coming to Diablo, but that's an example I'm using because Diablo is recently out.
The next one.
Diablo 4.
Whenever that comes out.
Yeah.
As long as it's not the fucking mobile game version.
Yeah. Well, that will be available for free for developers needing an immediately available voice solution. They should check out Discord. I mean, it gives some other ones there, but Discord all the way.
There's other ones there, but they don't matter.
The other ones are Vivox, TeamSpeak, Ventrilo, and Mumble.
Sorry, what's that? God, that was lame.
But yeah, I recommend Discord because Discord is fantastic. That's what I use, so why not?
Hint, Discord.
We love Discord. I think Marc uses Discord.
Now and again.
But he's not even given me his Discord thing, so I can't invite him to any of my servers. They're not all sim racing servers.
Honestly, I think last time I was on it was like 3-4 months ago. I don't use it much.
Yeah, I was on it today, about 5 minutes before we started recording this podcast. It's always like, because I'm in like 6 different servers that are fairly active. And they're just constantly going ding, 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 ding. I'm like, ah.
Oh no, I'm popular.
No, see, the thing is, half of the stuff isn't even aimed at me. It's just notifications of
Do you know
everything
what?
that's going on.
I think I'm glad I'm not a part of any servers.
No, it's not. It's not because all the servers are going constantly. It's just there's so many servers that are just going periodically through the day. But hey ho. Next one is cross-platform parties and matchmaking. That's Q3 to Q4 2019 all platforms.
That would be good, because sometimes you're playing a game and there's literally no one doing what you're doing.
This is the one I'm looking forward to the most, though.
Oh, okay.
Because there are some games that I am looking at getting which are available on PC and PS4 and the Switch and the Xbox. And even some of them might come out on Mac and iOS. Looking at you, Skyrim. Cross-platform data storage, cloud saved games.
So just so I know what this means, does that mean no matter what console you play it on, you can get your save game?
You can get your cloud saves.
That's pretty decent, actually.
And this one, I think, would be about... The next one might be a wee bit more difficult to implement, but...
Yeah.
if managed, would be fantastic. cross-platform achievements and trophies. Now, the reason I say this may be a bit more
Yeah, because
difficult to
doesn't
implement.
everyone have their own different achievements kind of thing, no?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you get some that are available on Steam that aren't available on like PlayStation and Xbox, and some available on PlayStation that you can't get on Steam or Xbox,
Yeah.
and some on Xbox you can't get in the others. Switch doesn't do achievements. They'll do in-game achievements, but not like trophies and chivos.
Yeah, it's because it's
like
more family
Steam-
consoles.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not a game.
Um,
Well, as a gamer console, obviously, we get my
Some
point.
games on iOS and Android will have achievements, but not all of them. So it just depends on like what game you're playing. Maybe not.
Mm-hmm.
But this is just a list of first steps. It's also working on further support for user-generated content, enhanced social features, anti-cheat software, and more.
Ooh.
So yeah, I think it's really, really good. Yeah. And with them also opening up the Epic Store.
And this I'm still unsure about. What the fuck is not what is a Epic Store? What is the Epic Store?
Steam, but Epic Games. But it's not just games made by Epic. I could make a game in Unreal Engine and put it on there.
Ah, okay.
Now, when you put a game onto a digital storefront, right,
Mm-hmm.
you're generally paying about 30%
Mm-hmm.
of the profits to the store.
Mm-hmm.
Xbox, Switch, PlayStation, Steam, Origin all take 30% of sales as commission
Mm-hmm.
because you're using their storefront. Epic Games take 8%.
It's a smart business model overall.
They take less money, but here's the thing: because they also give out their engine for free.
Mm-hmm.
So I could make a game in Unreal Engine 4. Unreal Engine 4 that I get for free, by the way,
Mm-hmm.
which I actually have.
Yeah, you did show me about.
And it crashes my computer sometimes when I open it.
Yeah.
And try to do too much at once.
I think it just panics and runs away.
Yes.
Oh god, no.
The CPU just goes, I ain't taking this no more.
Rip.
So yeah, if you do sell games,
Mm-hmm.
use it that you've built using Unreal Engine 4,
Mm-hmm.
Epic will take, I think it's about 8% off you on top of that as well. So if you build a game on Unreal Engine 4
Yeah.
and put it in the Epic Game Store,
Mm-hmm.
you are paying 16%. If you build a game in any engine that's not Unreal Engine, and then put it on Steam, Microsoft, blah 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 blah,
Mm-hmm.
you're paying 30% on top of whatever you. If you have to pay per copy sold of a game, you're paying 30% plus that. If you outright bought the engine,
Mm-hmm.
then it's 30%. But then you need to make sure that you sell enough copies that you can afford to pay for the engine. Do you know what I mean?
Jesus.
That you recoup the money that you spent on the engine.
Aye.
So yeah, even like the fact that it's two separate charges, 8%, so that's 16% in total that you're giving to Epic
Mm.
instead of 30% to anyone else.
Including our bits and pieces.
Yeah.
Jesus.
So still not bad.
Okay, so Epic seems decent, but still they gave for us Fortnite.
Yes, but they also gave us Unreal Tournament.
Oh, you bastard! Oh, that's mean.
Oh, sorry, we're not talking about that anymore.
What?
No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. Bastard.
But yeah, moving on from that, we now have one of our joint favourite developers.
And you definitely need to catch up in this franchise before this one comes out.
Your top developer.
Probably, yeah, because
my second or third, I'm not quite sure, between the two big Bs of the industry.
well, like personally for me, like, this company's made games consistently that I fell in love with, barring one failed attempt at rebooting the franchise effectively.
Yeah, I've still not finished that game.
Don't.
I do need to finish.
I gave up on it. Well, that's how bad it is. I gave up on a Bioware game.
I do need to finish the game of the franchise we're about to talk about that I started. I've not finished.
You need to play all of them. They all link.
Yeah, I know, but
Yes, they're very long
3.
games. You're the worst.
Started with 3.
You're horrible. Worst. There's so much lore you're missing out on. It's upsetting me.
Yes, I know. Anyway, we should probably let everybody know what we're talking about. BioWare have teased the new Dragon Age game.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, the trailer.
Yeah, we're not playing the trailer.
I don't care. So, such cool. Oh, the hashtag. I love the hashtag.
But yeah, we've been having bits and pieces coming out talking about how we may or may not be getting a new Dragon Age game, how Dragon Age they're still working on, stuff for Dragon Age Inquisition and this does appear to be story focused DLC for Inquisition rather than a whole new game.
Really? That's a bit late on.
Well, I say that the
I think you mean the dialogue. Yeah, that's from the game.
The teaser trailer that they gave is for that.
Yeah,
but they are working on a new game altogether, and it's going to be built of people who have worked on Dragon Age, Jade Empire.
Okay, cool.
And Baldur's Gate.
Yeah, I heard those guys.
So, those basically people that have worked on those 3 games are working on the next game.
Yay!
And the next Dragon Age Inquisition patch is called Trespasser. And I don't want to give out any spoilers.
Don't give out spoilers, but yay!
All I'm going to say is a lot of the story is going to revolve around Solas.
Basically,
can't remember how to pronounce it.
Solas. So basically, oh, you bastard! How dare you?
The mage elf.
Oh.
You know what? There's nothing wrong with that. That is the best type of character in an RPG. Is the mage elf combo. Remembering it's me who generally plays as a mage, and generally plays as an elf, who is a mage.
It does.
Except from in Final Fantasy 14, where I'm Mikote's mage, which is cat person.
Right. Okay.
With ears.
Jesus. Right. Basically, I'm just gonna fanboy over this for a bit. I ain't gonna lie. And this series has been, as much as I love Mass Effect, right? Don't get me wrong, Mass Effect is awesome, but an original ending of 3 and Andromeda tarnished it a bit. So I'm waiting the next installment to kind of restore the faith. Whereas for me, Dragon Age hasn't had any missteps. For me, it was just boom, 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 super happy, super fucking happy. And the best part is, it's one of those stories where it's 4 different games. Well, it's going to be 4 different games, and each section introduces new characters. They sometimes revamp the gameplay, which is actually fine. And it's new stories each time. But if you know the lore enough, then it all overlap. So it just builds on more and more of what you know, and it's how you should do games. It's what gets me hyped as fuck. Just the lore is so good. Oh my god. But yeah, again, I know you've only played the 3rd one, which is upsetting, I will not lie. However, I urge you to complete it because it's so goddamn good. Oh, hold on, just reading a bit more. Yes. Okay, I think I've just found out possibly where the 4th one's gonna go, which I was hoping for. It's gonna get really dodgy in the next one. Yeah, any fans of it, you've probably already noticed, but yeah, I think it's almost been confirmed they're going to Deventer. So it's gonna be a very dodgy game for a bit. You could basically argue like with the vendor guys like KKK, but it's like an entire country of it.
Yeah.
So this is gonna get proper. Oof.
Well, it's definitely something we're going to be talking about on our first podcast after New Year's.
Yep.
Because Casey Hudson has hinted that fans would see an announcement before the end of December. He said that about a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
So we shall see.
In all honesty, I'm just really waiting for like the first proper trailer. I know it's not going to be for a few months, but again, yeah.
And also, BioWare have not given a time frame for the game's release.
Unfortunately, yeah.
So while you're getting all excited, Mark,
Oh, it'll be a while.
I want you to tone it back because this game could be either released February next year or 2025-ish, 2022 we'll say, when the next gen consoles come out. It might be a next gen game. So it might be 3-4 years you're waiting for it.
I'm not.
Because we don't know how far along it's in development, right?
Yeah, and that's a good.
The rumours about it being in development started May last year, right? So generally rumours of games being in development doesn't happen until they're actually at the design and programming phase.
Yeah.
Which means it could be round about now, but it could be we could have to be waiting the long term because it might be a next gen console, next gen game. So just want to remind you that while there is hype, and I appreciate that.
Oh yeah.
Because without hype, there's no point in having video game releases.
Mm-hmm.
You need to you do need to remember to stifle it at times until you know exactly when it's coming out.
I really hope it's called Dragon Age Dreadwolf. Oh, good lord. I just can't wait. I can't wait.
But yes.
You're like, calm down. I'm like, no. Just no. But yeah, so, yeah, that's my hyperness. Gonna go for the rest of it. And chilling out, right. Let's see if you can actually scare me while I'm in the hyper mode.
Well, I might as well try. We are now going to be looking at our next creepypasta.
Oh no.
Which is not an original creepypasta. I'll explain.
Okay.
There was one called Sonic EXE.
Mm-hmm.
And it was removed from most creepypasta communities for considering to be kind of trolly and, you know, the grammar and punctuation and all that wasn't great.
Mm-hmm.
So someone has taken it and attempted to make it better than the original and changing parts to make it a bit more modern as well. So we shall see.
Okay.
But this is Sonic EXE remastered.
Oh, very gamer related.
I should call it remastered.
You should have just called it remastered. It makes more sense.
Sonic EXE HD remaster.
Yeah. Oh man.
Now this one is a tad shorter than the last one.
You sure? Because the last one was long as fuck. I
Yes.
didn't finish it.
Because it just goes down to. Yeah, we'll be here for a wee while reading it, but it won't be as long as the last one, I promise you.
Right.
We will get to the end of it within a half hour.
Right. Take a drink first. Actually, make sure you've got something open and you can take a drink of it. The last thing I want is you like croaking at me. What happens next? Right. Are you ready?
Sonic EXE.
Let's go.
I was playing Fallout 3 on PlayStation. Dad was still at his girlfriend's from the night before. Brothers were in work, and I had nothing planned except the job centre later on in the day.
I know how to feel. Sorry.
You're not supposed to interrupt my storytelling.
Sorry. I'll stop. But
this is now story time with Jack.
I get that feeling.
Story time with Professor.
Okay, I'll just point out one thing. Played Fallout 3 on the PlayStation, and Job Center, that was my life at one point. Half of it still is my life. Not what I could have. Anyway, let's go.
The postman would arrive eventually, causing the dogs I had to go crazy. Putting something through the letterbox, probably another parcel from my brother since he was always ordering stuff for his workout or a new iPhone case. Or maybe it was another comic my brother had ordered, the usual Batman or Deadpool. I paused my game to see what came through the door. The only things on the floor were a few letters from my dad, probably bills, a letter from the opticians for me, another eyesight check up to tell me my eyes were getting worse, and a white letter parcel, you know those that have the bubble wrap inside? But it was addressed to me. Funny, because I didn't order anything. Although I do tend to play those magazine crosswords, so I opened it up thinking I had won some competition and maybe it was a cash prize since money was tight. But instead it was a CD case for a computer and a note. I glanced over the note. Seen this game of Sonic, and to be honest, after that I didn't read the rest. I just got to the Sonic bit and knew it's a Sonic game. I didn't need to read the rest. I didn't even see who it was from. Not that I cared really. Could have been one of my mates probably trying to fuck with me. Stupid sense of humour that I have come to find out about called trolling. Seems to be the norm with geeks and nerds these days. Something which I despise. Ugh, my curiosity finally got to me, and I decided to take a look at the disc, and it looked like an ordinary computer CDR disc, except it had a Photoshop of Tails, Knuckles, Sonic and Robotnik, with of course Sonic at the bottom. But the main character was on the front, printed on that sort of adhesive paper used back then to customise consoles to look hip. Judging by how well the Photoshop disc cover looked, I couldn't help but wonder if this CDR was going to be full of memes and troll gifs. Probably a nasty virus or something, but it said Sonic in the front. My curiosity said just go with it. I went up to my room, turned on the computer and put the disc in, installed it, and seen what was on there. Went through the files, checked for viruses, malware, nothing showed up, so it was fine. Checked the files, and just one thing there. Well, two. One was Sonic8.exe, the other one was just some random file. Didn't think much of it, so I just right-clicked the mouse on Sonic.exe and hit play. Looking forward to see what was in store. When the title screen popped up, I noticed it was the first Sonic game from the Sega Master System. I was like, awesome! I like the classics. Probably the best before it went downhill in many fans, critics, and honestly my eyes too. Okay, Sonic Adventures 2 are the best, and to some degree Unleashed was fantastic too, within reason. However, the first thing I noticed that was out of place was when I hit start, there was a split second when I saw the title image turn to something much different. Something that I now consider horrifying before cutting to black. I remember the sky started to darken from the beautiful shade of blue, the title emblem slowly turned to rust and ruin. The Sega 1991 logo in the bottom right hand side had disappeared, and the water that had went from the sky blue into red seeping in a sweeping motion from left hand side to the right hand side of the screen. At this point I didn't know what to feel. I thought it was pretty cool, but then he appeared in that split second frame. Sonic with his eyes pitch black. No pupils, not at first, but suddenly two glowing red dots appeared, staring not intently, but looking eyes forward. His smile had what he seemed like stretched larger, wider, and up to the edge of his face. In that moment, I thought of this was pretty cool turned. I was slightly disturbed by that image of Sonic when it happened. Never seeing him in that way was daunting. Though I figured, well, not sure what I figured really. Anyway, pushing it to the back of my mind, yet not forgetting about it. I mean, who could? I proceeded to push start. As the game got past the title, the save file select from Sonic the Hedgehog 3 popped up. What the fuck, I said. What's this doing in the first Sonic game? I thought, just go with it. Then I noticed something else that seemed off. The background was the dark, cloudy sky of the bad Stardust Speedway level from Sonic CD. And there were only 3 TV screen save files. Not that it mattered, for I only intended to use one really. The background music came on, yet it seemed familiar. It was that creepy Caverns of Winter music from Earthbound. It only seemed to have been extended or on repeat. The images for the save file where you see a preview of the level you're on is just static for all 3 files. The character select, it only showed Tails, Knuckles, and to my surprise, Dr. Robotnik? Really? How can you play as Robotnik in a classic Sonic game? More to the point, where was Sonic? Why can't I play as Sonic? That's when I remembered this wasn't any game. It was a modded game. I suppose it was cool I could play as other characters instead of Sonic, but a little disappointed. Anyway, shaking off that feeling in my stomach I developed, I picked Fell 1, chose Tails and got started. The game froze for about 5 seconds and I heard a creepy, distorted laugh that sounded an awful lot like that Kefka guy from Final Fantasy before cutting to black. I admit that scared me as it was sudden and unexpected. The screen stayed black, then it showed the typical title level thing, except the simplistic shapes were different shades of red, ranging from bright to dark and everything in between. The text only showed HLL Act 1. The screen faded in and the title level vanished, revealing Tails and Green Hill Zone from Sonic 1. The music was different though, it sounded like a peaceful melody at first. Tails started running like you would in any of the classic Sonic games, and it just felt so different as you aren't going as fast as you normally would with Sonic. He ran through the level, usual layout, jumping on boxes and springs as you normally would in the game, but the enemies, they would either not attack or simply run away from you in some sort of panic. Some would go to attack Tails, but a flash like you would get in the lightning storm would fill the screen. After a split second, the enemies would appear dead on the ground. Not falling off the screen or explode into dust, but on the ground in a heap. Okay, I thought, carrying on further into the level. That was when the peaceful music started to lower down and into slow, deep tones as I kept going. I was expecting some kind of boss battle. Suddenly, I saw something that made me stop to see what I was doing. Looking carefully, it was one of the small animals that you rescue after defeating Robotnik, laying unconscious on the ground, possibly dead. It was the same state the enemies appeared after the random flashes. That was when the music started to distort or cut out random notes at random intervals. Tails had a saddened look in his face as he continued to move along. As he kept moving forward, I saw more dead animals as Tails moved past them, looking more and more worried as the music lowers. He no longer runs anymore, just a slow walking speed, as if hesitant to continue. I was starting to feel uneasy, especially seeing or assuming how they were all killed in disturbing ways. A squirrel was at the base of a palm tree with a splatter halfway up the tree, looked like it was thrown or knocked at some speed and force before hitting the ground. A rabbit had been decapitated, and something I could not make out looked like roadkill. I felt sick to my stomach when I saw this. Carrying on down the path, more animals laying motionless on the ground, and the capsule containing them was in ruins and ablaze. Charred animal corpses slumped over the ruined parts as if they frantically tried and failed to escape the burning wreckage. Tails had stopped, but it wasn't until I saw why. Sonic was on the other side of the screen, with his back to him, eyes closed, foot tapping in his usual "I'm waiting" idle pose. Tails looked happy to see Sonic, but then his smile faltered, obviously noticing that Sonic wasn't responding to him, acting as if he was totally oblivious of Tails' presence. He walked slowly towards Sonic. I noticed I wasn't even moving my keyboard to make him move, so this must have been a cutscene. Tails walked closer to Sonic to get his attention. I heard faint static growing louder as Tails was inches away from him. As he closed the distance, the static got louder. Sonic started to smile. That foreboding feeling in my gut was growing stronger. What was going to happen? Suddenly, Sonic's eyes opened and were black as night with those red glowing dots. Just like that title image, the static stopped. The grin disappeared. Switching to black, white text appeared forming a message saying, "Do you want to play with me?" I didn't want to continue with the game, but my curiosity got the better of me when I was taken to a different level, with the title now saying hide and seek. This time I was in the Angel Island level from Sonic 3, and everything looked fine, but Tails looked as though he was scared out of his wits this time. Understandable. He seemed to look at me and started making a frantic gestures to me as if he wanted to get out of the area he was in as fast as possible. I was starting to get unnerved by this. So I pressed right on the arrow key, a retro version of the creepy theme when you meet Shadow at the Ark, as Robotnik from Sonic Adventures 2 was playing as I made Tails trek through the forest, evading enemies, not caring about taking them out. I just had to get him to the end, to help him escape from whatever was seeking him. That awful, disturbing Kefka laugh was heard. The island appeared to grow distorted in the background. Black clouds formed in the sky as Tails ran through the forest, and then I started seeing flashes of Sonic popping everywhere on the screen, like lightning flashes from earlier. The music changed as I see Sonic step into view, walking up slowly behind Tails, then gaining on him by doing what he does best, running, while he looked as though he was enjoying the torment he was giving the poor little fox as he gained on him. As Tails tripped in another cutscene, the music stopped and Sonic vanished. Tails laid there looking around, frantically getting up. The scene was rather uncomfortable to watch, and then Sonic appeared right in front of him. Tails looked up as a grin slowly grew across Sonic's face, looking down at the horrified fox. What was going to happen? In a split second, he lunged at Tails right before the screen went black. There was a loud screeching noise that lasted seconds. The text returned, only this time it said, "You're too slow. Want to try again?" And then that god-awful laugh came with it. I shook the shock off as I was brought back to the character select. The save file that had Tails was different. Tails was no longer in the box, but in the TV screen itself, which was flickering with that static. Tails' expression made me feel uneasy, his eyes staring blankly while a black X marked his torso. His orange fur had patches of maroon with an expression of anguish on his face. Trying to ignore it, I picked Knuckles next. The screen cut to black, and this time the level was entitled "You Can't Run." The next level was the ground of the scrap brain zone, but the sky background looked like the main menu. It had the dark and cloudy sky. The music was the Gygas theme right after you beat Pokey and Earthbound, but a retro version. I also noticed that Knuckles looked a little unnerved. He wasn't sure about what was going on, but I made him move anyway. He ran down the straight pathway in this dark level, attacking enemies, jumping on them, swiping at them, and tearing his way through the level. I was enjoying it, but halfway through the level, screen started to flicker static a couple of times. Not again, I thought. I felt a growing sense of dread again, but no matter, as he ran, Sonic suddenly appeared right in front of him with those eyes, the grin. Knuckles ran right into his body. The static came and vanished just as quick as it appeared, showing nothing but a distorted area screen with the text saying, "Found you." My heart beated faster. Sonic not only found Knuckles, but caught him. What was going to happen? Was this some kind of boss battle with Sonic? I hope to God it wasn't. But a part of me kinda hoped it was. Maybe this time I could have a fair fight and do some damage. Knuckles was stronger than Tails. He had the chance. Suddenly, Sonic appeared right behind Knuckles in what appeared to be black smoke from teleporting, or maybe dust from moving really fast, since Sonic couldn't teleport. I made Knuckles turn and swipe at Sonic by pressing S on the keyboard, but he vanished in the blackness before I could even land a hit. That terrible laugh was heard, as if taunting. Sonic appeared behind Knuckles again, so I made the echidna jump at him this time, but he got away, vanished again, laughing, mocking. Knuckles looked pissed, and even I felt like I was getting wound up. Sonic was practically playing with us. He was playing a mind game with me and my character. Another cutscene played as a flash appeared past Knuckles. He was knocked backwards and fell to his knees, clutching his head. I felt his agony. Sonic was actually driving us both crazy. He appeared behind the downed echidna, walking slowly as static returned louder with each footstep, until he was directly behind him. The static stopped, the screen went blank. A message appeared. Told you. An horrific and blood-curdling crunch of bones breaking churned from my speakers. My heart was in my throat. My head pounded. I can't believe this game. It's sick, like a bad fanfiction from someone who really hated Sonic. I was brought back to the main menu, and this time the second file box had Knuckles on the TV screen. His red fur had darkened to a reddish grey. His dreadlocks were facing me, but his body was facing forward. The poor kid in his head had been forced 180 degrees, but I couldn't believe it. I didn't want to believe it. It made me feel sick. My stomach hurt from anxiety and disturbia. I shut off my computer. I couldn't play anymore. Fuck this game, fuck this noise, I'm not playing anymore. I laid on the bed, trying to put what I'd experienced out of my mind, but ended up staring off into space. I wish I hadn't, though. I slipped into a daydream. I was in pitch black darkness. My vision finally adjusted, revealing the back of Sonic. I heard the Kefka laugh, snapping me out of my daydream. Perhaps a drink and some food would help, I thought. After much thought, I decided to destroy the game, but for the reason of not being able to go back, to kill the temptation of playing further and seeing what lies at the end of the game. I couldn't carry on with this thing. I snapped the disc in two, more like three, cut myself in the process. Finally, I was unable to play. I breathed a sigh of relief. With the game destroyed, I had no urge to see how it ended. No need to resist the urge to carry on if there was no way of playing now, right? Thought that I might go on Facebook for a bit, because I need a good way of putting up that damned game out of my mind. As I went to switch on the computer, after waking it up from sleep mode to eject the disc, to my horror, the game was still on. The sight of Tails and Knuckles at the select screen, not only did I forget to shut the computer down properly, I forgot that I installed the game. The disc may be broken, but the game was still there. I could easily delete the game off the hard drive and forget about it, but then I remembered one more character, Robotnik. Surely this game must have been created so that Robotnik was the hero to stop Sonic. He had the technology, this must be the way to stop him. With my urge returning, curiosity spiking, and sense of hope, I selected Robotnik next. The title level appeared again. The level title appeared again, and this time it said ... I ignored it and carried on. This time I was in some kind of hallway. Didn't really look like it was from any classic Sonic games, though it had that retro style. The floor was shiny and checkered, the walls were dark greyish purple with animated candlelights here and there flickering with orange flame, and there was a dark red curtain hanging above the top part of the screen, like a frame. Fitting as this could be a reference to Sonic's curtain call, his end. The music, though oddly pleasant, was a rather sad yet peaceful song. This was the song that played on Hill Act 1, only this time it was played on a piano. It was beautiful. Robotnik didn't look nervous like Tails and Knuckles did, but he did have a skeptical look in his face, as if he was just a slight bit paranoid. He did a little animation when I just left him standing. He turns his head to the left and then to the right, at least twice, and shrugs at me, as if he has no idea where he was or what was going on. Even though I was on edge about what was going to happen, I had Robotnik continue onward. He did his usual running animation, you know, when you've beaten him at the end of a classic Sonic game and you chase him, as we continued going through the hallway. Then I stopped at a long flight of stairs leading downward. Now I was nervous. Even Robotnik seemed unsure of himself, though I pressed onward. Leading Robotnik down the stairs, I noticed that the walls had gotten darker, more brownish, putrid. The once orange flames of the torches were now an eerie blue. Then we reached the bottom step onto another hallway. This one was shorter than the last one, and then we headed down yet another flight of stairs. The Kefka laugh was heard again. The music slowly faded, and then nothing but quiet as he continued on. The frame rate dropped a bit. Stupid computer, I thought. Not now. Sonic appeared right in front of Robotnik in the same way he did Knuckles. Sudden, and then static. Growling, then black. Only a faint humming sound. An image of the most unpleasant thing flashed upon the screen. The image showed a close-up of Sonic's demented face in the dark, where his torso faded into obscurity. His face, oh God, he had the most horrifying smile. His eyes were widened and black, seeping red. There were two small red glowing dots in those black eyes staring right at me, burning. His grin was his grin was wide and demonic. It literally stretched to the sides of his face like a Cheshire cat, except Sonic bared his teeth, like some kind of unhinged animal. Static distorted the picture, that image of his face. As it settled, the static wore off, and the words, "I am God," appeared in the same style as the Sega logo. The screen flickered, distorted into all the songs in the game playing in reverse, screwed up for 10 seconds like some bad dubstep mix. The image settled again, with new words. Fun is infinite. Suddenly, I was knocked off my chair as I recoiled from the sight of Sonic lunging at the screen, making himself heard through the speakers in a deafening scream of static and screeching. Then it stopped. I got booted to the main menu, and this time the third save file had a TV image of Robotnik in the same tormented state as Tails and Knuckles. Robotnik's skin turned a dull grey, his mustache drooped and blackened, a dribble of red from the corner of his frowning mouth. His glasses broken, and he had a mere dead-like expression on his face. As the game over screen popped up, a message appeared underneath. Makes you mad, doesn't it? The computer seems to have crashed, frozen at the game over screen. I restarted it, hoping to send this out, not as much of a warning to people about this game, but what had I witnessed? Who wouldn't? The file wasn't on the desktop, there was no sight or memory of the game. The file or anything on the computer, the hard drive. Was this the intention once the game was finished? Was it the intention of the computer to just shut down? I sat there, wondering what the hell did I just play, feeling stupid and angry that I destroyed the disc, the only claim and solid proof I had. Then I remembered the note. Son of a bitch, where was the note?
And that's where it fucking ends.
That's where it ends.
Motherfucker. That was actually really good.
Yeah, it's good. It's a lot better than the original one was.
Only thing I'm kind of iffy about is the I Am God bit. I think I may be hammed up a bit too much. I don't know if that was part of the original or if it was like a insert.
I'm not sure, but I can tell you that it's probably a reference to the Kefka laugh.
Oh, okay.
Because Kefka believes he's God. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know enough. I know the creepypasta, but I don't know enough of the backstory or anything. I don't know anything else other than the pasta itself.
I mean, it's an interesting idea because obviously, out of all the characters, logically, if Sonic ever did go rogue, he'd be the one who could take them all out.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong, like, Knuckles is badass, right? But he can, like, punch you if you get me. Like, I'm pretty sure Sonic, if he wanted to, could just fucking dodge him. Tails. He's nice. He's a smart one, but yeah, he's yeah. And Robotnik, don't get me wrong. I think if like Sonic ever properly lost his shit, like it's like a Superman logic. If he lost his shit, Robotnik would be screwed. And obviously in this, Sonic loses his shit and then some.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I just really enjoyed that. I must admit, one thing I didn't expect to really enjoy doing was actually reading out the creepypastas.
Oh, say this one you got into it more. The first one, I think it was just because it was so long. You kind of like went in and out of like how comfortable you felt.
See, well, the thing was, I tried to speed it up. It was the first one, right?
Yeah.
I tried to speed it up so I could get through it all because I could see on the sides of. Like,
that's why I kept looking at it. I was like, holy shit.
I've got Internet Explorer open for them.
Yeah.
I can see the wee scroll bar going down, but it's not going down fast enough.
No, it wasn't. I was like,
holy
crap.
But with this one, I seen that the bar was a lot bigger, so I could slow down and just really take my time with it.
Mm-hmm.
But part of my problem is because I've read them, I've watched them on YouTube and stuff, but because I don't remember them.
Yeah.
Like I don't remember them word for word. And one thing I really struggle with is reading out loud something that I'm reading right in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
So I did trip over a couple of words, but you know what?
I'm
only human.
Yeah, it wasn't like the best written thing. But no, generally, I think it's a cool idea. And personally, with the whole idea of doing a Sonic movie, imagine a horror version of Sonic. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
Especially with the bit he said, I think it was a Tails one, he was doing the waiting stance, and then as he got closer, the grin starts. I'm like, that'd be decent, man. That's like, don't get me wrong, the other ones kind of like do what all horror things do. Once it gets past a certain point, it's less about building the horror, and it's like we're in the horror. Whereas the first bit, you're like, oh shit,
The first bit's about building suspense.
Yeah.
The middle is about maintaining the suspense.
Then the last bit's just like,
and the
fuck it.
last bit
Horror.
is a total cliffhanger.
Oh, no, yeah, okay, I'll give you that. But that's a fair point, 'cause you don't actually find out what the fuck happens to Robotnik. It's just that you assume he gets fucked up, but never says it.
I mean, you get a description of Robotnik.
Yeah, afterwards.
You know, his skin being grey, the moustache drooped, and
Glasses
blackened,
broken.
glasses broken, dribble of red from the corner of his mouth, and a mere dead-like expression in his face. But they don't tell you what happened to him. You know, but yeah, no, I really enjoy that. That's actually one of my top 2.
Like, legitimately, right, I can imagine if we ever, I don't know if we do this, for all I know we might do it, but if we did, like, a Sonic comic series, like, you know, like with DC and that, we always have, like, the dark versions, and that would make such a cool alternate Sonic. Like, screw, like, I think, is there an alternate Sonic right now?
I don't know.
I don't know enough about it, unfortunately.
Probably Sonic Underground.
Don't you dare, I loved that show. That was awesome. They had like instruments and shit. It was awesome.
You asked if they had an alternate.
Yeah, I meant alternate as an evil version.
Shadow?
He's more like the Deadpool, but less regenerative.
Yeah. Silver? No.
I
Silver
have
was
no idea.
Side of good. I don't know.
Interestingly, can't Shadow teleport as well?
Yeah.
And use his guns?
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, he's basically Deadpool, just can't. I don't think he can regenerate. But yeah, I mean, if we ever did make like a proper, like like young adult comic, that'd be a good basis.
I think if they're going to do that, like, I am very much a Marvel fanboy, right?
No.
But I definitely agree with you that it should be DC that does it, and if it's not DC that does it, Dark Horse.
Yeah. Because don't get me wrong, Marvel is good, I'm not going to lie. But when it comes to killing their own heroes, DC do it best. In shocking fucking ways. Whereas Marvel do more, I'd argue, bigger and better fights sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, Marvel's better at the overarching story. Like, DC, they can get right into the nitty gritty and you're like, oh shit. Yeah, I would get at that, man. Oh, man. That was a really good one. That's like... Ah, man, that was just a really good one.
Now, the question is, though, you set me the challenge before I read it.
Uh-huh.
Can I get even the slightest bit terrified
No.
while you're so hyped?
Little bit. Well, not terrified, more of a... Yep, that freaked me out, not gonna lie. Don't know how to fall off my chair, because I think after Knuckles, I'd probably just say, I ain't going back in that. Fuck Robotnik, he's a bad guy. Nah, just nah. Especially when you build up, let's say, his character fit, and it's just Robotnik, not in a big battle suit, just Robotnik. You're like, nah, man, he's done. He done. He did.
He did, man.
Plus, when he said like the first animation was like a left and right, shrug. The next one it was the same but quicker. You're like, oh son, oh you're in trouble.
Yeah. No, I think I've not actually put my top favourite one on this. My top favourite one, actually, I'll tell you my top favourite one after I do the next one.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't want to spoil what may or may not be.
Ooh.
But why don't we come back to the news for a wee bit?
Cannot chill
out a wee bit. See, this is why I didn't want to do them all in a row, because some of them are fairly long.
Yeah, and it's hard to like keep suspense when you're changing things. It's better to like get away from it, bring it back.
And also, I didn't want to risk freaking people out for like an hour and a half straight and then do like half an hour of news.
Oh, okay.
You know, break it up a wee bit, change the tone.
Gotta say though, I'm really digging this new format.
I'm liking this new format, but I don't think it will work for every topic that we do.
It varies. Like if it's a list, I think it'll work for lists.
I think depending on the list. If it's a list where everything we go into is going to be particularly long, like the one we're doing today, yeah, definitely. But see if it's going to be something where we'll end up running through it in like 5 minutes anyway.
It varies,
with a wee bit of discussion and opinion.
So I think sometimes when for news we do, it does feel like it drags on a bit.
Yeah.
Especially because before now, you're quite like you're talking about all of this, and well, some of it's good. A lot of it I'm like, whoosh.
Yeah.
Whereas these stories, I'm just like, these are good stories. I like these stories. I like the actual thing. That's how it works.
Yeah. But yeah, well, I should probably mention two of the topics that we had. We had 3 topics shortlisted for this one,
Mhm.
and I think we've decided that the two topics that we didn't, the other 2 topics that we'd picked, would probably be better as videos. So we might do them as videos
Mhm.
after the new year.
Yep.
At some point, probably kind of mid to late January, early February, if we've got the time.
I'm unemployed.
Yeah, but I work.
But
You know,
yeah,
I
so
do all the research for this stuff, man.
shut up.
Um,
Okay, fine. I'll take more of an active role as well. It won't
I-
be as good as yours. You're just like, nope, passable. Nope.
No, I welcome all input
But methodly, it'll
and
be
contribution.
see, it'll vary because it'll be stuff I actually think right. This is awesome, and stuff I'm like, he will like this. I'm like, but I know you like it. And then all stuff will just be like, this is technical jargon I don't get, but enough chance you haven't seen it, you like it.
Yeah. But the 2 topics we were thinking about
Mm-hmm.
were the best glitches in video games of all time. Well, our favorite glitches that we've ever seen,
Yeah, it would be better as a video.
and Easter eggs.
Also better as a video. That'll be interesting though.
However, I would like to discuss what I want to do for the next topic
Okay,
just now.
cool. More of a break.
Right, so it's going to be one each, right? Favorite video game universe / multiverse.
Universe, I get multiverse. Not as many games as multiverse.
No, but I can think of one off the top of my head that I would be doing if I chose to go the multiverse route. I've got one that I would pick for universe, right? But the problem is, I think you would want to do that one.
I'm not sure because like it just sounds like really large universe as opposed to world.
Yeah. Games of different genres and different series that cross over in some way, shape, or form that makes it show that they're in the same universe.
Does it need to
But-
be canon?
It does not need to be canon,
Okay.
but if you can find one that you like that is canon, that would definitely be preferable. But it does not need to be canon. The one that I'm thinking that you would really like isn't canon.
What is it?
I will tell you after the podcast. I don't want to say it just now, in case anyone that's listening goes and looks it up, and then you do decide to pick it, and then we've just ruined it for
Yeah.
them.
No, like it varies. There's one I can think of vaguely. I don't mind ruining because I can use quite happily find another one. But was it like the worlds of Mass Effect and Dragon Age are meant to be linked?
Mass Effect, Dragon Age, and The Sims.
And The Sims?
And The Sims.
Okay, I didn't know that far, because I knew...
So,
there's the Easter egg between the Mass Effect and Dragon Age was amusing, because apparently in one room in Dragon Age, I want to say it's the second one, I'm not 100% sure, you can see the head of a Krogan on the wall, and it's meant to be like a trophy.
I'm not sure, but I know the link. One of the links was if in Dragon Age Origins, I believe, it might have been Inquisition, but it was one of the 2 most recent ones.
Okay.
Right. If you look into the sky and look at the moon, the moon has a big scar across it.
Okay.
If you're exploring the universe in Mass Effect,
Uh-huh.
you will then find a planet called Clendagon,
Right.
which has the exact same scar.
Oh.
And if you get, I can't remember the expansion for The Sims, right? But you can time travel in it,
Oof.
and you come back in armor and talk about the shepherd who saved humanity.
Whoa. Bear in mind the Sims go blah.
Yeah, text bubbles. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Like they have text bubbles on the sides
Yeah.
where it tells you, XYZ
got you, yeah, I get
really
you.
likes their job. XYZ has school today. XYZ and XYZ have had an argument. They are no longer friends. Or
Yeah,
have
actually,
now
I
got married. You know,
recently I have some experience with this. I'm just confused. But no, that's cool. I'll need to research it.
that was one I was thinking for you. Actually, it's called the EA verse.
You ruined it. You fucking ruined it.
Well, it couldn't be called the BioWare verse
It should be.
because Sims is Maxis. Well, actually, Sims is purely EA. They just use Maxis for brand recognition. Maxis doesn't exist anymore, except as a trademarked name. There's no Maxis Studios anymore. But no, you know what? I'm going to ruin the multiverse one I was going to go that I might have went with because I doubt I'm going to go with it
Mm-hmm.
because it's so convoluted, complex, and would take me about 12 hours to explain it.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the Final Fantasy verse.
Oh, good lord. Wait,
Every-
seriously they're linked?
Right, they're not in the same universe. They're not in the same world.
Right.
But there is a thing referenced in every single game called the Void.
Right.
And the Void is what Gilgamesh travels through to go to different worlds.
Right.
Now, Gilgamesh isn't in every single game.
No.
However, the Void is referenced or seen in every single game. Right?
Oh, okay.
And that connects all the worlds.
Right.
But only, I think, 2 people can travel through it.
Mm-hmm.
Gilgamesh
Right.
and Exdeath.
Now, why is it slightly rings a bell?
Exdeath is the final boss in Final Fantasy 3. I don't know. I can't remember where Exdeath's from. But
That's shocking for a historian.
there's so because the last time I remember fighting Exdeath was in Final Fantasy 14 as part of Sigmascape, Alphascape.
Mm-hmm.
No, Sigmascape.
Nico.
I think it was one of the Stormblood tiered raids. Anyway, that's the point. So yeah, it was that. So, I can't remember exactly which game it came from. I think that because each tier was based off of a different game.
Mm-hmm.
One had Kefka as the final boss, so that was based off of FF6.
Mm-hmm.
Because you also fought the Phantom Train, the Ghost Train, Doom Train. It's really called, but it's not called Doom Train in the game. It's called Phantom Train.
You fight a train?
You fight a train.
Like an actual choo-choo?
Yep. Although it's not as good as the Phantom Train fight in 6, because you can suplex the train.
Like, is it just one car of a train, or is it a full...
It is a full train.
That shit's crazy, man.
Literally, it became a meme. Like you've got Bart's standing on the train tracks, and it just says, "Have you ever been so angry you suplexed a train?"
This needs to be seen to be believed.
I will show you after the podcast.
Sound.
But enough of a diversion. Shall we get back to the news?
Indeed.
Next up is a game that was announced at the Video Game Awards just a couple of weeks ago.
Second hee of the podcast.
And this is the new game from Obsidian. Now, this is one that kind of confuses me a little bit, okay?
Okay.
Because Obsidian
Yeah.
have been bought up by Microsoft.
Okay.
And from the looks of it so far, from anything that I've seen, it's never posted under Xbox. It's always under PlayStation or PC.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a game by a Microsoft first-party studio that's not going to be on Microsoft. Right, now I understand that this started development before Microsoft bought them up, but surely they would then go, right, it's also going to be on Xbox.
Well, it could have been part of the contract or whatever they're working on at the time stays as it was meant to be.
Yeah.
Or maybe Microsoft have just been chilling like, well, do you know what, as long as you're bringing in the money.
Yeah.
And this sounds like it's going to be bringing in the moolah.
So yeah, obviously people know Obsidian as the guys who created Fallout New Vegas.
Yep.
As well as the Pillars of Eternity series of RPGs.
solid game. Like, I tried to play it.
Well,
It's very
Yeah.
it's very involved.
yeah. Well, their new game is called The Outer Worlds. It's
Woot
a
woot.
first-person RPG set in.
Space.
This announcement was made during the Game Awards 2018, and yeah, the trailer was really, really good. It made me actually quite excited to play it.
Well, that's kind of the point.
Yeah, but you know that way I see games and they're announced at things like E3 and like now the Video Game Awards as well, but you also get like PlayStation Experience and Nintendo Directs and stuff as well. And sometimes you go, yeah, it looks good, but is it going to be that good when it comes out?
Mhm.
You know, we've been burned before. You know, Watch Dogs, No Man's Sky before it got patched. Batman Arkham Asylum for PC. Scalebound. I mean, that
Oh,
one just
don't
got
remind-
straight up cancelled.
Don't remind me of Scale. That's one of the main reasons I was really hyped, thinking, do you know, I'll maybe get an Xbox, and then nah, like fuck
Yeah.
it on, fuck it.
So, you know, I do take game release trailers as with a pinch of salt because it might not even be like engine footage and all that.
Don't say that.
I don't remember seeing it saying
I didn't.
an engine footage. It may have done, but I can't remember.
Nah, I don't think it did. I've watched it like 2 or 3 times now. Definitely didn't.
But anyway, shall we go run through the trailer a wee bit?
I think it's probably best just being seen, to be honest. You can run
Yeah.
through the quickly wee description you've got. But I've got a few elements I could talk about, I've read about. So I've done some research on my own, actually. Oh, ha, ha.
Well, you'll have done more research on this one than I have, so
Okay,
you
so
can lead the way with this one.
sound. Okay, so from what I've read, it's going to be like, it's similar to Fallout 4, right? But it seems to be, well, better, essentially. It's something like the guys who did the original Fallout stuff was a we did New Vegas, and I think we did the original Fallout games. Possibly, I'm not 100% sure.
No,
No.
well, Obsidian didn't. But Tim Kaine and Leonard Boyowski,
Uh-huh.
who are the creators of the original Fallout, which was made by Interplay Entertainment rather than Bethesda Softworks.
Uh-huh.
They are leading the development of this game,
Right, okay.
but they're not part of Obsidian.
Mm-hmm.
So, while it says from the creators of Fallout New Vegas and the original Fallout,
It's more of a
that's two
collab
separate-
between them.
Yes, it's a collab between them.
Got you.
Because when New Vegas came out, Bethesda owned the rights to Fallout.
Mm. I mean, as I understand it, like, personally, I've only ever played... sorry, voice was a good word. As I've understand, I've only ever played myself Fallout 3. I thought it was fucking amazing. And to all intents and purposes, I've heard that New Vegas is a step up above that, which shocks me. I've yet to play it because I fucking can't find it for PlayStation.
I know
Yes.
it's not on PS4.
Yeah, but I think it's on the weird...
Should still be on PS3.
Oh, I never thought... Oh, yeah, I suppose I could do that.
But yeah,
But yeah, again, I have myself not played it. Again, heard it's, like, for all intents and purposes, just next level up. And for this to be made by both these crews, it's gonna be insane. Generally, story is you wake up after being put in cryo sleep as you get transported off world onto this new world. The world's owned by corporations, so basically, you're forced. You're forced, in order to save the rest of your cryo mates, I want to call them, to join one of the I think it's 3 major corporations, work for them, build up your cred, so eventually you can save your people. And throughout the course of it, you get it's got a few RPG elements, like you can mainline in certain weaponry. So that could be if you want to go around using a sledgehammer, a space age sledgehammer, but still sledgehammer. You can go all full on melee. You can go just full on guns. You can go full on science, which I found interesting, where you get specific science-based weapons that you can't get otherwise, which which means you can get bigger, better guns, but only for going up for science. Sounds cool. What else you can get? Along with all the companions you can get, which is why it says it's like a kind of Mass Effect mashup. So apparently you do get proper companions as opposed to say, like Skyrim or Fallout companions where they're kind of shit. Like they do a job, but you don't feel like you're with anyone else. Whereas obviously Mass Effect is very like team, squad, goals kind of shit. So that's what I'm hoping for here. And one of the other things that I've read is, okay, two other things. I'll do a funny one first. Apparently they're introducing a new conversational element. Right, so you get the general one, you get the smart option, the heroic option, the asshole option. You also get the dumb option.
Yes.
For instance, well, I think I don't know.
They had that in the original Fallout.
Seriously?
Where because your conversation
Yeah.
options were set by your intelligence stat.
Oh
so
my
if
god.
you set it to like 1 or 0, like your conversation was just like going, and then people would say, bring me X, Y, Z, and you would say, like, say they said, like, I can't remember the main one that was the example I seen, but I think it was like, bring me the microchip. Microchip. Obviously there's no voices or anything in the game, it's all text based, but that's basically how I read it in my mind.
That's fucking
you
amazing.
You just kind of see grunting noises of U, G, H, 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 A, R, 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 and then like a couple of words here and there that you've picked up from the last piece of text in the conversation.
That is brilliant. Oh man, like for this game though, it's kind of like that, but it's even better in a way, right? So you get a dumb option, for instance. The hypothetical used was the idea if you, I think you're, I don't know if this actually happens in the game or it's just a hypothetical. You come up to a building, people screaming, right? And it's like your companions ask you, okay, what are we gonna do? Like, are we gonna like smart option, top out with fire and then go in. Heroic option, just batter through, see the people run out. Asshole option, fuck them, steal from them when they're dead, kind of thing. Dumb option, it's like this is to you hearing screaming from the fire. You surely want to be saved. For all we know, they could be screaming about something completely unrelated. And it turns out, it's going to be one of those games where they will call you on your past actions. So if you continually use the dumb option, your companions will reference you being a dumbass. And it's one of those things you're like, this is the companions that I like. You get people, like your companions will go, remember that time you didn't save the burning people because you thought they were screaming from something else? Well, it turns out they were screaming because they're on fire. And you're like, yes. Fuck yes.
You've now made me want to do a let's play of this game.
It sounds like it's going to be so much fun, I'm not going to lie.
Dumb options only.
Oh, man. Like, I don't know if it's going to be like a stat tree like Fallout. That would be amazing, though.
Like, this is going to make me want to do various playthroughs of this game. You remember how I talked about Mass Effect?
Yeah.
How I would play it purely Paragon, purely Renegade. First, like, how I would play it, like how I would play every scenario.
Oh, yeah.
And then purely one of the options.
I can't.
And then I will let's play the first run like that, and I'm going full on derp mode.
Oh, like, I can't do that in games. I always feel bad. Oh, I can't. always end up going Paragon.
Well, I showed you that those videos of me, Josh, and Amber playing Trials and Call of Duty Black Ops 3, where we just set ridiculous constraints on the game.
Fuck, man.
Like, what was it, 2 on 16?
Yeah. That actually sounded quite fun, to be honest.
Us versus the bots on veteran difficulty.
Mental.
And then, like, having ridiculous modifiers on Trials Fusion, where we had, like, 500% gravity, 500% speed, 500% boost.
Insanity. Utter insanity.
Like, we play games because we like playing games, and we like to try and play games right when we're playing them for us. But when we're just messing around or doing something because we're bored of playing games the proper way, we'll go and try and do something like that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, it's not even that, sometimes you will find hidden I say hidden content, but content that people don't normally see because they don't normally do things that way.
Yeah.
Like, I imagine if you go full on derp mode,
you'll get some stupid shit
You
happen.
will
Naturally.
probably find some things that a lot of people won't see because a lot of people just get sick of going full on derp in game.
Because obviously it's going to tank your game somehow.
Yeah.
I mean, the only other thing I can really mention is, like I said, the world's all based off like commercialism, so it's like free main companies. Each different company focuses different things. So you'll get like traders. So if you obviously alliance with them, you'll get certain you'll get bonus trading elements. One deals with certain like food products and transport food, also drugs. There was a third one. For life, I can't remember the third one. But the way they've affected the world is shown in like certain animal life. For instance, there's meant to be like a sort of like snake, right? But because it's used as like cattle effectively, they've altered its genetics. So instead of being long, like we know it's a chunky fucker. So that way when they do go and harvest it, they get more meat.
Yeah.
So instead of like being a big long predator, it's more of a you see it in the trail if you look at it, it's like it's basically short and stumpy, like me if I was a snake. But yeah, so instead of like slurring over it, so it's like plop, plop. Basically it's like a slug minus like the nastiness. Oh man, basically I'm just looking forward to this. It sounds like it's going to be rather well thought out and just fun. That's really what you want from a game.
So yeah, as we mentioned earlier, Obsidian have been acquired by Microsoft.
Mm-hmm.
However, Outer Worlds is being published by Private Division, which is part of Take-Two Interactive, the parent company of Rockstar.
Yeah.
They currently publish the Kerbal Space Program, and they're working with multiple developers on several unannounced titles as well. So we will see some more games coming from Obsidian that aren't going to be Microsoft exclusives or published by Microsoft, unless said games get cancelled.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. We'll see.
We shall.
Next one up is I'm kind of looking forward to this one because I've seen Let's Plays of this game. I've seen like clips of this game, and I've always wanted to play it, but my PC can't my PC won't play it. But it's now coming to consoles, and that is the Stanley Parable.
Again, I've heard not so much about this, and I think I've seen a trailer for it, but I can't remember full sized.
Well, it's a kind of short comedic adventure game about an office worker named Stanley, and it's been fantastic. But we're going to get the Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe to on console platforms. Will be with new endings and new content. The new endings and new content will also be going to PC. And yeah, no, it just the game looks so much fun. I've been dying to play it, and yeah, if it comes out in the Switch and PS4, I'll probably get it for the Switch so I can play it on the go. Like I'm not having to sit in the house and play it.
I don't know if this would be the kind of one you'd want to walk about with. I don't know.
Oh, I would play it at work on my break. Especially if I'm doing a long shift and I get a half-hour break, I can spend a half hour just playing it.
You need headphones from the sounds of it. You need headphones from the sounds of it.
Yeah, that's fine. That's what I usually do. I just kickstand out, headphones in, play.
Damn.
I play Mario Kart in my breaks if I get a half-hour break at work.
Fuck, man.
Yeah, it's fantastic. But that brings us to the end of this round of the news.
Dun dun dun.
It's time for our next creepypasta.
And last, I believe.
And last creepypasta.
So prepare to be afraid. And this one seems to be
just a little bit longer than the last one, but a damn sight shorter than the first one. But this one's worth it.
Oh, so this is the last one. This is how you ordered as well. So if this one doesn't give me a little bit of chill, I'm gonna dude, you shut your load too soon, man.
So the reason this one is worth it, and despite the fact it's not one of my top two, and my top one wasn't in this. But it's worth it because it's Pokemon, and we've been playing Pokemon all afternoon,
Afternoon. Night.
evening, whatever.
man.
So this one is called Pokemon Strangled Red. And before I get into it,
Can I just clarify? It's like it's like a title. It's not like you're saying Pokemon Strangled Red. Like nondescript Pokemon just like entered the house. Fuck you, Red.
you'll have to wait and find out.
Oh shit. Shit.
but
I'm looking at Arbok and Ekans, just saying.
Really?
Like-
Are you sure?
Oh, Tangela. Oh god, Tangela. Ugh.
Machoke.
It seems a bit like pedestrian, and I don't know. Try and get
Hypno.
Hypno would be interesting to make you strangle yourself. Well, I'd be
Mr. Mime.
gonna not. Ugh. Ugh.
Anyway,
Creepy
like I was
fucker,
trying to say,
man.
my
Do you
favorite.
remember him from the Detective Pikachu one?
Oh, looks so weird.
I think that's a benefit of it, actually. The animation makes it
Yeah.
look proper terrifying.
Yeah.
Can I point out Ash's mum has him in the house
Yep.
daily? The fuck?
Yep.
Like, is it
And
a wee-
Mr. Mime lives in Ash's house and doesn't stay in the Pokeball like Pikachu, right?
However, right, it's Pokemon that can sit at the seat but eats food on the floor with everyone else.
Actually, in the anime, Mr. Mime eats food at the table
Does he?
and eats human food.
See, this is that's when it gets really weird. It's like there's like literally classes with Pokemon.
Well, here's the thing. You have a dog, so you would know this. Probably.
Oh,
But sometimes you kind of give human food to the dog.
yeah.
It's just the same.
Yeah, but it's different.
Only
If a
it's-
dog can walk, wait, obviously can walk. Duh. Like walk on two legs. Then you obviously just from psychologically you can attribute to the bipedal Pokemon human characteristics.
But we don't always do that.
Okay,
Far-fetched. Can walk on two legs.
it's got feathers and wings.
Still bipedal.
Certain Pokemon have walk about in two legs, and it's just like obviously meant to be human-like.
Yeah.
Like
Some of them.
any little Machoke. Machamp's a
the-
bit weirder because it's got four.
The Machop line. You probably have Hitmonchan. Maybe Hitmonlee.
And aside from, as we've seen, when it stretches his legs, it freaks me out. I didn't know it could do that. I obviously, you knew you could do like, the long kick, but again, I always thought long kick was more like he got closer, not he fucking does like a Mr. Fantastic kick with his leg. I'm like, what's
His
in
legs
there?
are made of springs.
What's in there? What's in there? What's in there?
But anyway, yeah. So, my original point before I started this was going to be my favorite one is actually Polybius, the Phantom Arcade cabinet,
Okay.
and a part of the reason for that is the creepypasta for it. It links into CIA testing of using hallucinogenics like acid as a form of mind control. It was a secret project. I believe it was the CIA. It might not have been, but I'm almost certain it was the CIA. Called MK Ultra.
I heard of that one.
Yeah, it was meant. It's been tied in with part of that. The reason I've not brought it up.
It's because it sounds like it's a very long and involved one.
Yeah, and I would also want to go into
All
what
more
is
details,
MK
yeah.
Ultra, and I studied psychology, and so I would want to go into a bit of psychology behind it.
But generally, if you want, we could do this as like a mini one at some point.
We could maybe do that at some point. But if we're going to do,
Like, if you do want to do another one before the actual New Year, I'd be up for that if you want. Like, we just hang out one day and just wait, we'll fucking dive into it.
yeah, we could do that. We will see what happens.
Yeah. I'm just saying, I'd be cool with
because
that.
I've got like the whole Christmas week off except from the Saturdays, the Saturday before and after Christmas.
Still unemployed.
So I could do that. But my little brother and sister are up from England visiting us for Christmas during that time, so I'll have to kick them out of the room, kick them off a fortnight.
Up to you. I mean, if you're cool with that, I'm not gonna say.
I'm more than happy with that.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sick of watching them play Fortnite when they're up.
I'm sick of Fortnite.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah, that's something we could maybe go into. It's either that or we will start working on the 2 videos that we talked about earlier, and then leave that mini one till after we've at least recorded all the content. We don't have to put the episodes out or have it all edited, but
Yeah.
at least record those episodes
Either or, man.
before we do that one.
I'm up for either or, honestly.
I think we'll do the episode, the 2 lists, and then we'll do Polybius.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
But we'll just, once they're recorded, we can just record the next one whenever, and we'll just edit them in spare time and upload them once they're edited.
Mhm.
That makes the most sense, I think. But yeah, this last one is Pokemon Strangled Red.
Cool.
There are tons of stories out there about hacked Pokemon games. Some of them really quite neat, such as the one about the version where you get a ghost as the starter. Some are ridiculous. Silly stories about individuals dying after playing a game, or the game talking to them. God, don't these writers know less is more when it comes to these stories?
Yeah, if you ham up too much.
Well, I digress. I grew interested in these hacked games that are apparently in any thrift store or on eBay or handed out by homeless people to a random passerby. I didn't have the pleasure of meeting these creepy people. I merely found this particular cartridge in a trash bin when the garbage truck backed into my neighbour's dumpster. I noticed the game and asked the trash man if I could take it. He didn't seem to mind. It was thrown away after all. I of course checked with my neighbour to confirm they didn't actually want it, though they seemed perplexed as if they'd never seen it in their life. Their son made a grab for it, a little boy who saw the Charizard on the cover, crying out, "Pokemon, I want mommy." But his mother told him no, seeing as I found it. He didn't even have a Game Boy anyway, he just liked Pokemon. Thinking nothing more, I simply went home, looking at the cartridge's sticker in the way. Just a plain old red version, this sticker slightly torn across Charizard's neck, but it was expected with such an old game. I had blue version as a kid, so I was eager to see the, albeit minimal, differences red version had. I was rather disappointed by what I saw when the title screen showed up. Pokemon Strangled Red Edition. Well, damn it was a hack. Hacks were neat and all, but they had zero monetary value. The originals were quite valuable by now, and I wanted to play Red anyway, not this crap. Oh well, it was free. May as well try it. The name was odd, however. Strangled Red? That made no sense. Not even in a morbid description of someone being asphyxiated, as people turn blue when choking, not red. Who knows? Maybe there was a pair of these hacks and I just got the red one. The more I thought about this, though, the more interested I became. My initial disappointment turned into curiosity. I wanted to know what the creator had made, and I was going to know everything I saw. The first oddity I noticed was the starter screen had a Charizard next to the trainer instead of a Charmander. Also, the Pokemon never cycled through like the original version of it did. It just stayed Charizard, even after 5 minutes of waiting. Shrugging, I hit start, noticing there was no Charizard cry as I did, like there was supposed to be. I saw there was an option to continue, so I figured I'd do what everyone else did with used games and see what the previous owner had done. No. I blinked in surprise. No? What do you mean no? The game wouldn't let me continue no matter what, though on the 4th attempt I heard the Charizard cry. Quiet, barely audible, but there. Shrugging it off, I decided just to hit new game, like I would have done after checking the old file anyway. The screen cut to black for a while. No Professor Oak, no starting theme, nothing at all. Eventually the screen came back, showing a bedroom, 2 beds, 2 TVs, and a computer in the corner. My trainer sprite was the usual one, consistent with the original red version. I was curious as to why it didn't ask me my name, though I thought it was answered as I opened the pause menu, noticing my trainer name was Stephen. No, this isn't my real name or some stupid crap like that. This game isn't self-aware or haunted, at least not that I know of. It just had a name chosen already. Curious, I saw he had the starter amount of money, no badges. He didn't look like Red though. His hair was longer, reaching almost halfway down his back. Red's usual smile replaced with a confident smirk. Honestly, I find this sprite much cooler than Red. Next I checked out his Pokemon, a single Charmander, level 5, named Mickey. Nothing was odd about it, or should I say her, with the name and all. She had the beginning Charmander stats, only knew Scratch and Tail Whip, basic stuff. The game seemed relatively normal. Returning to the game, I walked about the room, noticing Stephen's long hair was present on the back of my trainer sprite when I turned my back to the camera. I didn't recognise the house, but I descended the stairs to see more. Downstairs was another trainer, who spoke to me the instant I came down. Mike says, "Ready yet?" "Stephen." "Yeah." I assumed this Mike was my rival pre-decided for me, a replacement of Blue most likely, although I thought to the bedroom having 2 beds, realising they weren't just rivals. They were brothers. They talked back and forth, basic Pokemon dialogue, become a Pokemon master, catch 'em all, stuff like that, before having a little argument over which is better, Charmander or Squirtle, which of course led to the introduction battle. Like the 1 versus Blue in the lab, simple enough, scratch tackle. I won purely for having the first turn. I took note of how much better Stephen's sprite looked in combat than Red's. A different pose, his hair looking like it was blowing in the wind. A brief, minor upgrade, but still much nicer. I left the house after some more banter with my brother, stepping out to the Pallet Town theme. Going to the east, I found this was indeed Pallet Town. The house was simply on the outskirts to the west. I noticed there was no mysterious grassy field like in normal Pallet Town. Wandering about, I decided to check in on Red's home. His mother was inside, and when I talked to her, she commented on how handsome Stephen looked, hoping her son would grow up to look to him as a role model when he became a trainer himself next year, which of course led me to realise this game took place a year before the original Pokemon. Red was even upstairs playing the SNES in his room, commenting, "I'm going to be the best too when it's my turn." I was starting to like this hack. It was interesting, a completely new adventure, different character, hell. Stephen even seemed to have a history with the people in this town, a reputation, a personality beyond his silent protagonist. The people in town talked to him as a person, making conversation, not just spouting tutorial crap. Even Blue's sister had new dialogue. They seemed to be in a relationship too, as the dialogue ended with a kiss and a heart over her head. Professor Oak simply wished me well, giving me a Pokedex to aid my adventure. He wasn't going to give it to me. He wasn't going to give me the reason behind the adventure like every other Pokemon game out there. He gave it to me out of kindness, something to help me on my way. A gift. I was liking this more and more with each second. The game seemed to have an actual story now. I was somebody, not just a cookie-cutter protagonist anyone could be, not some blank sheet that could be replaced without notice. The story was different, though the actual gameplay remained unchanged. I went north like I was supposed to, went from town to town, collected badges, received the praise of the leaders. Stephen's fame even seemed to spread as some NPCs would talk to him like they knew him. I used Mickey for every battle, and she was growing surprisingly fast. She handled Brock with ease, even pounded Misty with no trouble at all. She wasn't adversely affected by super effective attacks as others, did more damage than a regular Charmander, was a veritable powerhouse. She even became a Charizard at the mere level of 25. Not bad at all, I must say. Things started to get weird though as soon as I reached Lavender Town. I know, Lavender Town is the focus behind every creepy story and the like, but it's the only place that was noticeably different. There was no Team Rocket invasion, which I found odd, though I did remember this was a year in the past, so the invasion wouldn't occur until Red's time. I tried to enter the Pokemon Tower aiming to get a Ghastly, but that's when it got odd. "I have no reason to be here," Stephen says. Stephen wouldn't go into the Pokemon Tower no matter what I did. This was weird. I mean, hell, there are a million places in Kanto you really have no need to be. Little random houses with nothing but children NPCs, for example. Why was it here that Stephen wouldn't enter? With a shrug, I figured I wouldn't need a Ghastly, seeing as Miki could handle anything, so I simply went on my way. Lavender Town serving no purpose other than a passageway with a Poke Center. The game progressed normally from here. The remaining gyms fell, and eventually I made my way to the Elite Four and defeated them. As with Blue, my brother Mike was there before me. initiating the championship battle, which Mickey swept with ease. The aftermath of the battle was quite pleasant. None of the tension that was present between Red and Blue at the end of their match. The brothers congratulated each other on their progress and shook hands before the screen went white. No Hall of Fame, or any credits. When the screen came back, I was at the house again, the two brothers sitting at the computer conversing with each other. I don't want to, says Stephen. Come on, Mike says. I just got to borrow her for a second to finish the Pokedex. The entry won't register unless she recognises me as a master for just your second. Stephen says, but she's my Mickey. I promise I'll give her back. Come on, please, Mike asks. Yes, no. I was a bit perplexed, so I hit no to be cautious. Oh, come on. Please, Mike says. No. Come on. Please. I realised this would simply loop until I had yes. So I did, just to see what would happen. Alright, this will just take a sec. Then we'll both be Pokemasters, Mike says. Stephen just stares. The screen changed to the animation shown when two people trade Pokemon, which I found a bit weird, seeing as I was solo. But whatever, this is what apparently was supposed to happen. Mickey went first. I watched lazily as she began to travel down the trading tube. Snap. That made me jump. A sudden noise resonating in my silent bedroom, loud due to the volume being way up. Looking at the screen, I noticed the game seemed to freeze. Mickey was still in mid-trade, but the game wasn't doing anything. With a sigh, I just turned off the game, wondering when my last save was. When the game turned back on, I stared at the moment at the start screen. There was no Charizard next to the trainer. Upon pressing start, I saw the new game option was absent, leaving only continue. This was strange, to say the least, so I selected it. The game started without even showing my stats as usual. My jaw dropped at what I was greeted with. 1 year later. The Lavender Town theme came first, playing its normal way, the screen slowly fading in from blackness. Stephen was in the Pokemon Tower, which made the music even stranger, seeing as the tower had its own theme. He was standing in front of a tombstone, not doing anything. Wondering what was going on, I pressed A. Confused, I tried walking, realising I was indeed in control at the moment. I brought up the pause menu and checked my party. Mickey was gone. Not just Mickey, all my Pokemon. He had nothing. The Pokedex was absent from the menu, his bag was empty. Honestly concerned now. I checked his trainer card. He had no money, he had no badges. His playtime was 8,795 hours, which is impossible as I only had 38 logged in before. But that wasn't the strangest part. His picture. The picture of the handsome, confident young trainer was different. His eyes were blank, his face turned slightly down. That smirk of his was gone, replaced by a lack of any expression at all. All that long hair of his, before it was a perfect perm, now was messy and unkempt. I couldn't look at him anymore. Closing the menu, I went to move out of the tower, but with every step I took away from the tombstone, the screen flickered, like it did when a Pokemon was poisoned. Gulping, I brought up the trainer card again. His picture was getting worse. Every step I took, he hung his head more and more. His shoulders slumped. He bent over. By the time I had exited the tower, he was on his knees, hands to his face, hair draped across him. I had guessed already what was going on, but this clinched it. I began to put some things together in my mind. I had always wondered why there was no champion in the original games besides your rival. Why is it that you, the protagonist, had to beat your rival when he just waltzed in, no previous challenge to challenge? Then it struck me, the answer's right there. The previous champion gave up. His precious Mickey was dead, apparently. And with her, so died a part of him. His Pokedex, the other Pokemon, his badges, his fame, all of it. He threw it all away. In that year, the year that I missed, the year where all those hours came from, I even did the math. There is 8,765 hours in a year. Add that to the 30 from before, and it matched up. Even so, the game kept going. This should have been an ending, I thought. I mean, what else is there to do? I had no Pokedex, no Pokemon, not anything. What was I supposed to be doing? I talked to everyone in the town, and they all said similar things. Are you okay? Still mourning, I see. Everything will be alright. Please, is there anything we can do for you? Stephen never replied to them. and they all simply said the same things over and over. I couldn't put the game down now. This was all so strange. Curious, I headed off into the tall grass, and eventually got into a battle with a Rattata. No Pokemon was sent out, just Stephen Sprite. I was wondering how I'd battle. Wild Rattata left you be. The battle ended without anything happening. This was certainly interesting, and it happened with every Pokemon I encountered. Wild Pidgey ignored you. Wild Ponyta wandered off. The music never changed either. No matter where I went, Lavender Town came from the speakers, following me, sometimes slowed down slightly, sometimes not. I searched everywhere, every town, talked to everybody, wondering just what the hell I needed to do. My frustration was mixing with the depressing atmosphere of all this, making the experience altogether unnerving and uncomfortable, but I couldn't tear myself away. I was starting to get a bit angry though. Nobody telling me anything besides giving me their condolences and trying to give me items like lemonade or coffee, each met with no. I slapped myself for idiocy, suddenly realising how likely the answer was right in front of me. Pallet Town, of course. When I went there though, which took a long time, having to walk, no Pokemon to fly with, no bicycle to ride, and Stephen seemed to only move half of the regular speed. It wasn't much different. I first tried talking to Professor Oak. These things happen. You were just unlucky. Next I tried Blue's sister. Please, don't leave home again. Red's mum wouldn't even talk to me at all. With nowhere else in mind to go, I walked to the west, finding the house from the beginning, which I had never entered since leaving Pallet Town. Inside was Mike, but talking to him was just as useless. I'm so sorry. I pondered for a moment if this was really the ending, Stephen doomed to do nothing but roam Kanto in misery, haunted by the memories. Forced to listen to everyone's concerns about him. As a last-ditch effort to do anything, I went to the bedroom, walked over to the bed. I'm going to sleep, Stephen says. The screen faded to black for a moment, but then slowly faded back in, the world having a black tint to it. Mike Sprite laying on the other bed. I assumed this meant it was night. I'm going to do it, Stephen said. Do what? Again? I had no idea. Trying to inspect everything in the room, nothing happened. As soon as I left the house, another dialogue. It can bring it back, Stephen says. It can do anything. What in the hell was it? Something that could do anything? I couldn't for the life of me figure it out. Wondering about, I tried to leave Pallet Town the usual way. Not that way, Stephen says. He wouldn't go any further. I tried the homes. Screw them, Stephen says. I quirked my eyebrow at that, forgetting for a moment this is not a real Pokemon game. The vulgarity just took me off guard. I continued to look around, but there was nowhere else I could go, until I accidentally stepped on the ocean, and Stephen walked right in. Only the upper half of his sprite was visible, like the swimmers you encounter at the Cerulean Gym. I didn't know he could swim. The missing one. Missing one? I paused for a moment. No, he couldn't possibly mean that. I haven't tried the missing no trick on this hack yet, but it just fit too well. That just had to be what it meant. So I surfed all the way towards Cinnabar. I began to feel something was off, more so than this already was. Silence. The Lavender Town theme had stopped. There was no noise at all, nor were there any Pokemon. I just kept going, finding Cinnabar and surfing up and down the east coast. Lo and behold, Wild Missing No appeared. Stephen says mine. Wild Missing No was caught. The hell? Stephen didn't do anything. He just commanded that atrocity of broken data to join him. No, become his possession. And it did. It was getting more and more disturbed by all this. Checking the start menu, I saw Missing No was not in my party, but instead an item, making things even stranger. I checked the trainer card as well. Stephen had his back to me, his long hair draped behind him, his hands in his pockets. Nothing else. Remembering what he said at the start of this night, I realised what I had to do. I surfed to land and made my way northeast to, where else? Lavender Town. Along the way, I noticed all the trainers, oddly still out at this hour, wouldn't look at Stephen, all of them turning when he passed, even those that were normally static. I tried talking to one of the officers in the guardhouse type buildings. Just go. They all said the same thing, though one sent chills down my spine. Sometimes, dead is best. My hands were sweating by this point. Stephen was about to try the impossible. Something some would see as a crime against nature, which many of these people shared that option. I steeled myself. It's just a game. I was going to complete it. It took an eternity to reach Pokemon Tower, but I got there eventually. Taking a deep breath and heading towards the tombstone, I remembered which one. The image of Stephen standing before it was burned into my mind after all. First I tried inspecting it. Mickey. Nothing happened. With a gulp I opened the menu and selected Missing No from the bag. Stephen, don't use it, Oak says. I was reminded when Professor Oak would magically tell you that you couldn't use a key item somewhere, like using a bicycle in a building. Though this message this time was different, even worse. Stephen responded to it. In a world that cheated me, why should I play fair? Stephen used it. Stephen obtained Mickey. But it wasn't spelled Mickey. M, @ symbol, $, $sign, exclamation mark. What in God's name did I obtain? Couldn't tell you. Because the game took away my control. Without my input, Stephen began to leave the tower on his own, walking single step by single step. Lavender Town theme started again as he left the tower and began his excruciatingly slow journey against my will. Every time he crossed one of the borders where the music would change, it got progressively slower, more and more disturbing. By the time he reached Cerulean City, it was just a demonic rumbling. I just stared, watching him, trying to guess where he was going, but it was getting more and more obvious. He's headed to Pallet Town. The music had all but stopped when he got there, playing single note by single note. He went exactly where I'd guessed, right to his own house, inside, and up the stairs. At this point there was no music. Stephen moved step by step, stopping at his brother's bed, turning to face him. At first I thought the game froze. He didn't do anything, simply stood there. I couldn't move him. I did, however, find out that I could open the pause menu. I was terrified to look. Couldn't stop myself. I selected his trainer card. There was a low growl noise, like a distorted Pokemon cry. Stephen was looking at me again, directly at the screen. He was hunched over, his bangs obscuring his face. His hair was wild and feathered out. Between his bangs there wasn't even a face at all. Just black, 2 red eyes looking straight forward. A white grin contrasting the darkness. That wasn't all. His name is now S! 3V3N. I couldn't look away. My eyes glued to his, not breaking contact for some time. My vision was getting blurry until I couldn't see very well. My face grew wet. I was crying like a baby. There was nothing I could do to hold back the tears. I was with this boy from the start. I built him up to greatness, then was forced to watch his decline after a tragic accident. And now he was this thing, this abomination. I watched him go insane. Halting my tears, wiping my eyes, I closed out of the trainer card and tried to save the game, wanting to just quit. This game forced me that this was impossible. Nothing can be saved now. The pause menu wouldn't close no matter what I did. So with no other option, I checked the bag. Nothing happened. I checked Pokemon. There was one single sprite met me. It had 0 HP. Its status, dead. Its name, Mickey. I selected it. I was greeted with 4 options. Status, it's her. Switch, never. Close, no. Strangle. My fingers shaking, I selected strangle, and the menu closed, showing Stephen in the room again. Stephen says goodbye. Snap. The game shut itself off. I was more dumbfounded than frightened, in a bit of shock. I turned it back on, the title screen showing the manic Stephen and a horribly glitched Charizard. I pressed start, then continue. All I saw was a zoomed out view of Pallet Town, showing Stephen's home to the west, tall grass surrounding it, and those unmovable stones blocking it from the rest of town. The image was completely static, no music, no movement, before fading to white and going back to the title screen. It was as if it was as it had when I first popped it in. A trainer card, a trainer and a Charizard. I attempted to hit continue. No.
Damn, motherfucker. Oofed.
It's definitely one of the best Pokemon creepypastas around there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like it's the most intense
Yeah.
Pokemon creepypasta I've read, because most of them involve around like the most prevalent one is the Lavender Town syndrome,
Mm-hmm.
where according to the creepypasta, they changed the music for Lavender Town in the Western release of Pokemon Red and Blue from what it's like in the Japanese Pokemon Red and Green.
Okay.
And the reason for this is because it apparently caused insanity, depression, and eventually suicide in kids and teenagers in Japan who heard the theme. But listening to it back, like listening to both the themes side by side, looking at them in Spectrograph, they're exactly the same. So it must have been something out with the hearing range, or something that is so subtle you can't see it on like a spectrograph or something.
Mm-hmm.
But because this and most of the kind of ROM hack ones are, well, they're good. Yeah, they always seem to revolve around Lavender. Like, they happen in Lavender Town and that's it. Like, you start with a ghost and then it kills you in Lavender Town.
Mm-hmm.
And things like that. But this one, it you go through the full story and then the game freezes and then you find yourself in, Lavender Town, and then everything just gets worse and worse and worse, and you watch this trip through insanity, really.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's really a really cool one to see, because it's fairly well written for some of the creepypastas that I've read in the past as well. I just like this one a lot. It's definitely in my top 5.
That is really good, man. Give it that. Very fucking good.
Now, I should probably mention that I researched most of these and some other ones at like stupid o'clock in the morning when I was half asleep. And that's enough to give someone nightmare fuel, that particular one.
Yeah, a little bit.
But yeah, no, I really enjoyed it. So I think we'll finish off with some news and then our impromptu-ish stuff.
Sounds good.
Also, while we're just finishing up this bit, if anyone is listening, let us know down in the comments what your favourite creepypasta is.
Yep, good idea.
And we will check it out and we will let you know what we think of it. Also, let us know what you thought of these creepypastas that we've covered today. If you didn't know them, then tell us what your first experience with them was like. Let us know if you've heard them before this, if you enjoy them as much as we do, and if anyone does go and read the rest of Ben Drowned, let us know what you think of that.
Yeah, because that's
a fantastic one. There is a YouTube video about it which goes really in depth.
Oof.
And it's fantastic. But now from the creepy, intense, and somewhat uncomfortable Creep Fest
to the creepy,
to the
intense,
scary,
somewhat
intense, and somewhat creepy,
uncomfortable world of
yeah, like, so I people tell me he's a rapper, right?
one good song a while ago.
I remember one of his songs,
I think you only had one, in all honesty.
and it was the most pathetic attempt at making a hit single I've ever seen.
How dare you?
I'm assuming it's the Soulja Boy song by Soulja Boy.
Terrible.
That's his song, right?
And clearly you've never Superman that hoe.
I'd rather whip and nanny.
Oof. To whip your hair back and forth.
No, that's a totally different song.
I know. I was just going for the puns.
Anyway.
You killed it.
Yeah, no, I had to kill it before I just got a bit bloody mental. Before I become Stephen and you become Mike.
You gonna start joking on me, whatever the fuck that means. I really hope it's not what I think it means.
What? No. At the end of the creepypasta.
No, I was trying to turn it back to the puns.
Anyway, Soulja Boy is jocking on them haters of his new Soulja game console and handheld. Now, here's the thing, right?
Seriously, what is jockeying on them? I don't get it.
I don't
I'm
know.
slightly worried it's meant to be like.
I
don't know.
don't know. I probably don't want to know.
No.
And it's Soulja Boy. I frankly don't care. What is interesting though is he is selling a console, which is basically for anyone that owns a PC, an iPhone, iPad, a Android tablet, or an Android phone. Pretty much a overpriced piece of crap. Because it does something that all 5 of them can do pretty easily. Emulate games. Yes, he's selling a console that's pretty much an overpriced emulator. Yeah. And he's actually selling ones that he's bought and reselling as his own. So he's not even made them. He's not even like. They've not even been made for his brand. He's bought them, relabeled them, and shipped them back out. Right? And here's the thing, right? It says it can play Switch games. I don't believe that in the slightest.
No.
3DS games? Yeah, believable. It's probably going to be shitey emulation, though. It's probably going to emulate the game at like 4 FPS.
Yeah.
The Vita.
The
Neo Geo. Now, Neo Geo would be an easy one because the Neo Geo is highly emulatable.
No
I
idea
can
what
do
it
that
is.
on my PC.
No one's no idea what it is.
And the Game Boys, which again I can do on my PC with not EPSXE, that's PlayStation, VBA, right?
Okay.
And yeah, they run fairly well on my PC, and I can actually play VBA games on my iPhone. So why should we be buying this if we have mobile phones that can emulate them? The Switch is too recent to be emulatable. Well, I mean, it's probably emulatable by now, but for a company to market that it can emulate those games, I don't see that happening. Now, this is called this is the handheld version that we're talking about right now.
Yeah.
It also has 300 games built in.
Try again.
Sorry, 3,000 games built in.
Yeah.
There's no list of games available, but like literally the only information you get is 3,000 games and what it can apparently play. And then you get the console.
Yeah, the Big Daddy.
It has access to Soulja Game, PlayStation, Neo Geo, PC, Sega, Game Boy Advance, and NES. No.
Just no.
No. See, if I was going to be in any way likely to buy this, right? SNES compatibility is required.
Okay.
NES compatibility is required. And also, like, it's missing, like, the 3DS, but it's got the GBA there. Neo Geo's on both of them. Why not just shove all the portable stuff in there as well?
And versus PS as well.
Yeah.
As in one?
Probably.
Damn.
Again, I can emulate that with EPSXE.
Fucking hell.
But no, you should, hell, add Atari. Because Atari had some great games.
That's just so random.
It says Sega. Which Sega? Sega Mega Drive, Sega Master System, Sega Saturn, Sega CD.
Whoever one that goes Sega.
All of them.
Okay.
Although, if it is going to be doing a Sega console, I actually think it should be the Dreamcast.
I got no knowledge here.
Yeah.
I had the Mega Drive.
I just want to play Phantasy Star Online on Dreamcast again. But yeah, so both models are developed by Ann Bernick, according to the Soldier Watch site, and they sell most of their products exclusively through AliExpress, a Chinese online retailer that sells internationally. AliExpress, as well as Wish.com,
Oh God, right.
are fantastic places to get things on a bargain, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, never buy tech from it. You will get ripped off with something that's fake, broken, and doesn't work.
Jesus.
I have this personal vendetta against buying tech from sites like this because I got... Right, I think I've told you this story before.
Yeah.
I've never shared it on the podcast, right? Mostly because A, it makes me look stupid,
A little bit.
and B, because it's never really come up. But I just got the Switch,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, right, do you know what? I'm going to get a SD card for it. And I was told by a lot of people, you know, if you want to get something cheap, go to Wish. Wish are fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So I took everyone at their word, and I went, right, I'll go Switch. I'll go and get something off Wish. So I went on SD card, found one 512 gigabits. I was like, well, yeah, just pay shipping. I'm all over that. It's probably going to be fake, but you know what? Risk it for a chocolate biscuit. You know? So I was like, right, £4 shipping. If I bought one of these retail, probably about £100. You know, it's probably going to be fake. But let's see.
So you get.
Yeah, it was a 3 gig memory card. However, I then went on and tried to use the Wish Assistant to get a refund.
Mm-hmm.
And they said, yeah, your refund, your chance to get a refund expired 2 weeks ago. I'd only had this thing for a fucking week.
Mm-hmm.
So the timer to get a refund expired a week before I got the item.
Mm-hmm.
So I then sent them a strongly worded email, and they gave me about £11 back after I'd only paid £4.
Jesus.
So I got down to triple my money back. I got to keep the card.
Yay.
Now that I know it's only 3 gigs big, I can now use it for 3 gigs worth of data.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, no, I mean, the moral of the story is, if you're going to buy tech off of places like that, don't expect anything fantastic. You will get some things that are usable and will last you a while, but they won't be of the highest quality.
Mm-hmm.
Things like headphones and stuff, it will sound a bit muffled and maybe a wee bit distorted at times. But they will probably last a lot longer than like a genuine set of Apple headphones. And they'll be like £100 cheaper.
I always go for the cheap, not gonna lie.
Although they won't sound as good as Apple headphones. Not by a long shot.
Yeah.
Which, for me, you know, I'm a sound engineer. That's kind of a key thing for me.
Yeah, you're a connoisseur of the noise.
Yes. Yes, I am. No, that's why I always buy Sennheisers. Because they're more expensive, more comfortable, much better quality. Yep. Anyway, that is them. It kind of looks like an Xbox.
Ish.
Now, it had like this is for the console.
If you can call it that.
This is for the rip-off Xbox, and it is going to be running a Linux 3.0 operating system, pre-installed with 800 classic games. It's probably going to be one game and 799 reskins of the same fucking game.
Which is horrifying.
Support for PS1 and arcade games and GBA. And hold on, right. PS1 and arcade game, CPS1, CPS2, Neo Geo. Capcom, right. And GBA and SFC. Sega. No, I don't know what SFC is. I can't think of that one. Sega and NES and Game Boy Color and Game Boy and Game Gear and SMS game series, Sega Master System.
Thank you.
Ultra large capacity, support for TF card, maximum to 32 gigabytes. And I'm pretty sure. No, I'm thinking of something else. I was thinking of CF cards that I use for my camera, which are pretty poor storage devices for stuff that you have to read and write quickly to.
All right.
At least in my experience of using them as, removable media. So they're going to be, they're going to be on sale from AliExpress for between 100 and the handheld's going to be £73 ish, and the console is going to be 106. Now, he's selling both the handheld and console together. Like, this is now Soldier Boy's personal site.
Apparently,
is selling the pair at £200, the console at £150, and the handheld at £100. So that's quite a markup. That's about a 50% markup on the console, and maybe maybe about a 20% markup on the handheld.
Sure, math. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm doing the maths in my head. I know that.
It's like a good quarter of prices, actually.
So yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think it's worth it.
No, God no.
However, we shall move on to probably my favourite bit of news.
Pause 2 seconds.
I can't pause.
Ah, cool. In that case, you have to do this one without me.
How about I just wait for you?
Or, seriously, when it comes to Kingdom Hearts, I've not enough knowledge or interest.
Very well then.
Yeah, you can do.
Thanks for spoiling what it was.
Oh shit, sorry.
I would have just cut it out, you know. Anyway. Kingdom Hearts 3 is finally done. Tetsuya Nomura has announced the new Together trailer sets the stage for the conclusion of the game. So this has been announced 5 years ago, and it's just like, I think, about 2 days ago. No, not even that. That's well off. The 20th of November. So I'm miles behind with this one. But yes, Tetsuya Nomura has confirmed the game's completion in a tweet. So yeah, in this tweet, Tetsuya Nomura recommends playing or replaying the previous games in the franchise to prepare for KH3. Square Enix recently released a compilation called Kingdom Hearts: The Story So Far for PS4 that includes every relevant piece of Kingdom Hearts story content in a single set. So it's everything from Kingdom Hearts HD 1.5 and 2.5 Remix, as well as Kingdom Hearts 2.8 Final Chapter Prologue, which features 8 games in the movie. Kingdom Hearts is going to be released for PS4 and Xbox One. The trailer we were talking about earlier highlights the new and returning worlds featured in Kingdom Hearts, including Frozen, Hercules, Toy Story, and Pirates of the Caribbean. This means that Kingdom Hearts 3 is definitely going to be making its January 29, 2019 release date. which is good. And yeah, it's very much all good. And that's all I have for that story. Well, I guess we need to wait for Mark now. Just want to say thank you to all of you guys who do listen to the podcast and support us. We really appreciate it. If you ever want to have us do any videos or podcasts or live streams of any specific games or topics or anything like that, leave them down in the comments below on any video, when like whatever video you're watching, when you get the idea. We will look into it. We will probably try and do it. We definitely would like to do more stuff that you guys would be into, and see how much we can how much stuff we can cater to you guys. So yeah, we will be setting up some videos over the next couple of weeks and getting them done. Nice to see you finally return, Mark. That was a very short story. I had done it by the time you got to the top of those stairs.
Well, stretch out.
I did.
Fuck.
I did. Now,
no one ever said we were professional. I'm sorry.
I said we're professional.
Well, you shouldn't have. You're misleading the public.
Anyway, I think Mark is best prepared to take this, best equipped to take this one on. This next story.
Okay. The next story is another fond farewell from the Marvel universe, I'd argue. With Daredevil getting cancelled after its latest season. Basically, obviously, the controversy around this is with the Marvel streaming service coming underway. It's kind of like consolidating all of its properties. So we had a deal with Netflix on the wildly successful series it did, minus admittedly Iron Fist, which apparently did get better in the second season. I haven't watched it though. Sorry. Basically, it's cancelling all its non-Marvel centric properties, which is obviously a horrible decision because the shows are wildly popular. Daredevil especially, which has just hit stride after stride and just kept going. It was brilliant. It's got some of the most memorable fight scenes I've seen for years. Don't get me wrong, Luke Cage was amazing as well. Jessica Jones had its moments, and yes, even Iron Fist was quite enjoyable.
I was actually enjoying season 1 of Iron Fist before I stopped watching it at like episode 13.
Like I said, it has its moments. Only thing that really annoyed me with Iron Fist is casting. Because while obviously, the protagonist of Iron Fist is meant to be white, the Asian lead they considered casting, he's don't know if you got that far. He's the one that what?
The Greek guy.
No, wait, what? The drunken fist guy. Don't know if you got that far yet.
Are you talking about his pal that comes to?
Nah, he's not his pal. It's someone else.
I'm thinking someone else.
And there's a character you meet later on. He's like a doorman or something, but he's like completely pissed, and he's just really quite funny, and he's able to kind of bob and weave around him. The main guy using the drunken fist style.
Yeah.
I call it because he's passionate. It's funny, but yeah, it completely destroys him.
Drunken boxing, it's called.
Whatever. Actually, it sounds better. Basically, my argument is he does the humour and fighting flawlessly, and he just looks the part better. Yeah, he's not white, but then again, it's one of those roles that could easily went either way.
Yeah.
Arguably, yeah, I do understand why had to be a white guy, purely because the story's meant to be the white guy getting trained in the Asian.
Not just that. Also all the backlash after Fan Four Sticks.
Oh God.
Which I'm still going to keep calling it that.
Same.
With the Human Torch being black. Because I mean, I've got no qualms either way whether they change the race of a character in a live action movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or even if they do an animated one. But with the Human Torch, if they'd done that, they would either have to have a black invisible woman,
Mm-hmm.
or like they both have to be the same race because they're twins.
Yeah.
You know, it's all fine and well saying, you know, oh, they're brother and sister and they're adopted.
This is what I always get confused. I don't know if they are twins or if he is significantly younger. It does vary.
And I remember the run that I read, they were twins.
I'm not too sure. You might be right because I would explain because they do. Reed and Sue have twins, so if it runs in the family, it makes more sense. For me personally, again, this is off topic. Unfortunately, I'll be quick as I can. My issue is it's not the race as such; it's the writing. It was poor. Like, just quick rundown of it. Reed's an asshole. He's meant to be smart, yes, but he's also meant to be quite charismatic at times. That version was not.
He was an arrogant jerk in that version, if I
Mhm.
remember correctly.
Yeah. Remember, bear in mind, he also left his friends for a year. And then somehow becomes leader. The fuck. The thing, he's meant to be the heart of gold trapped in the body of stone. His story is depressing, and it completely ruins its clobbering time. It's used as an abusive thing from his big brother, and then he says it. And that's not good.
No.
What the fuck? Sue is presented as a cold fish. While I did say things the heart of the foursome, she's definitely the soul. And don't get me wrong, she's a good actress. I know she is, but good fucking god, they made her born.
Yeah.
And then Johnny, it varies, right? For me, Johnny's always been the humour. Yes, there is arrogance there. Don't get me wrong, he's always been arrogant in every iteration I've seen him. But in this one, there was no humour. They tried, and I guess maybe some people found it funny. I didn't. I know he's a good actor, don't get me wrong, because in fucking Black Panther, he demolished his role as Killmonger. He's a fucking great actor.
Yeah.
But what I view as the Batman vs Superman curse, great casting. Well, in this one, not so much, but that's just because of the story. But horrible editing.
Yeah.
Editing, story.
Writing.
Yeah, that one. Thank you. And obviously the whole thing of Sue and Johnny, they're meant to have such a close fucking bond. They don't really have one.
Yeah.
And then you're meant to believe in this whole love story between like Reed and Sue. They don't really have one. You're meant to believe in this brotherhood between Reed and Ben. Yeah. No, we don't really have one.
I mean, like,
and the worst part, the absolute fucking worst part, Ben and Sue don't fucking speak a word to each other. It's like, yes, we'll spend time in the team, except two of them haven't fucking said anything.
I know, it's a shame because like they're considered the first family Marvel, and the movies have received such bad reception like since probably about 1998.
See, this is where I argue I loved the older ones. I loved the ones.
I liked the one. I liked the
first one. The second one, definitely the first one.
They were the better of the ones, right?
Yeah, I really did enjoy them. I thought we were a great take on it.
They commercially were fairly successful. Critically, they weren't.
Yes, 'cause critics don't like superhero films.
Yeah, true.
Unless it's like Black Panther because it tackles race.
Yeah, but
And that's not a bad thing. I'm just saying that's why most people liked it. Or Wonder Woman because it tackles feminism. They're both good subjects, but again, they're also good movies. Not because of the things they tackled, because they're just really good movies.
Yeah. But the point was the later movies received such bad reception that Marvel even stopped running the comics.
Yeah, that's how bad it got. It was quite bad.
Like, because one thing that you could count on is if a movie was doing badly, Marvel would do comics to keep that that series relevant. And all like they would be kind of like tie-in runs, and they would be bloody fantastic.
Try and
Excuse the pun.
Yeah, try and stop some of the after effects and the damage. It's just unfortunate how Fantastic Four went, in all honesty. Josh Trank, great director, right? This is the sad thing. His turn on, what was it? His first one he did. The weird psychic one. It's like that found footage one almost. It also has
Paranormal Activity.
No, you're going too paranormal. It's Can I just Google Josh Trank? I think if I can.
You do it.
Yeah. I'm probably gonna remember in a few seconds. I just feel like a pure turd. Josh Trank, American film director. First film that comes. Chronicle. Alright, Chronicle was a masterpiece. I thought it was great. It's cool taking super genre, and it's like you try to do it with an existing story idea, and that's what never works. Story is brilliant. You just need to adapt it. You don't rewrite it.
Because not all stories translate well onto the big screen.
I have seen absolutely no reason why Fantastic Four can't.
It's the same with video games. Like if you do one based on a movie or based on a book, they don't always translate well. Like, don't get me wrong, you get some which are pretty much written to be made into a movie.
Yeah.
And you get some where, they would make a good movie or a good video game, but you do have to tweak it a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Like one example, like, video game wise, that I can think of that would encapsulate that is Dante's Inferno. Fantastic book.
Fantastic video game.
Yes and no.
Method of the nipple monsters were a bit creepy.
It was a good video game, but it didn't quite capture the
whole point of the thing. I felt
it didn't quite capture the spirit of the book, though.
Yeah.
Whereas you've got the Dynasty Warriors series of video games, which is based off of the Romance of Three Kingdoms books.
Mm-hmm.
And they do it really, really well. And they're the same genre. They're both hack and slash games.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's not anything to do with the genre. It's not to do with a historic book being made into a video game.
Mm-hmm.
Neither of, because they were both like pretty much the same in those aspects. It was the content, how they translated the content from book to hack and slash video game was the issue. I mean, Dante's Inferno is a great game, but it's just it doesn't quite capture what the book has.
Yeah.
I think if you could rename it anything, and it would be a better game than it is as Dante's Inferno with just the same game.
And sometimes that's what happens. Like you get a really good premise, but because you've strictly tarred it effectively off a certain idea.
Mean, you take a video game franchise and then translate that into movies. You've got Final Fantasy Spirits Within. Spirits Within. I thought Spirits Within was a great movie.
But it wasn't. As soon as you said it was Final Fantasy,
the minute I went in and was all excited because it's me, Final Fantasy. Even back then,
expecting summons and spells. Oh my!
I was expecting big epic battle scenes, big bad at the end.
Yeah.
Swords flying about, magic, summons.
Nope.
Nothing. But see if you take away Final Fantasy and just call it The Spirits Within.
Would have been pretty cool.
It's a bloody decent movie.
Yeah.
The Final Fantasy tag killed it.
You just need to get rid of your preconception. Just watch it for what it is. That's how you do it.
Well, when I went to the cinema, I was like Final Fantasy, and then came out fairly disappointed. But then I rewatched it and just ignored the Final Fantasy part.
Okay. Decent.
And I was like, do you know what? It's a better movie than people say it is. It's a better movie than I give it credit for.
Mm-hmm.
It just needs to lose the Final Fantasy part of, the whole Final Fantasy tie-in, I'm going to call it, because it doesn't tie in Final Fantasy in any way, but it needs to lose that and it would be a fantastic game. That's the thing. It's so weird.
No, I get what you mean. Like, it's just poor branding, basically. It's just poor branding.
Yeah.
Anyway, to tie this somehow back into what I was trying to say. Basically, they're pulling all Marvel content that's not on Marvel-related platforms, assumedly, well, you would assume, to then put it on to their own streaming services. Apparently, however, the shows on Netflix already will stay there for years to come. So, if you haven't watched it, you've still got a few years, obviously. But it does seem to be the remaining ones of Jessica Jones, which is going into its third season, and Punisher into its second. It seems likely after these have been released, that will be it. But interestingly, there's been a clause put into our contracts in which you cannot, like the stars, apparently, if I've read / remember it correctly, are unable to have any starring roles in anything for a year.
Alright.
Like, after finishing up. So it's like to keep their branding fine for a year or some shit. But also means that they're not allowed to reprise the roles and anything else. So the next time you see a Daredevil or Luke Cage, etc., it'll be someone else, unfortunately. Which is just a shame because they were really good.
Yeah. But I imagine that we will see, we might see more kind of web series, streaming series like the Marvel MCU moving to Disney Plus, which is Disney's streaming service, which is coming out next year.
I have no idea.
So.
Oh, Disney streaming service is out now, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
It's out now. Sorry. The Disney streaming service is different now. Whereas, well, there's some form of Disney streaming service that I have already had
but
experienced.
not the one that I just mentioned, Disney Plus.
Sorry, got it. Sorry. I heard Disney streaming service and jumped on that.
Yeah. No, Disney Plus was this particular one I was talking about.
Jesus, we get Disney streaming service and Disney Plus. Oh.
So I imagine we might see things like on there coming, maybe.
I have no idea.
I mean, it would be really cool if Disney took everything that they have the rights for. So they've got part of the rights for Marvel MCU, as well as Cloak and Dagger.
No.
Is it The Runaways?
The Runaways is really good, yeah. However, I think that's...
With the buyout of Fox, they've also got X-Force... no. Is it X-Force?
I think so.
And Legion.
No, and they'll have X-Men as well. Well,
yeah. Well, they're all X-Men tie-ins.
Yeah.
But they're the shows that are on Fox TV.
Mm-hmm.
So, you might even see them jump over there because we have heard rumours. I've heard rumours about maybe X-Men next phase.
It has been iffy because I also heard like the next Phoenix movie or whatever you want to call it, X-Men one isn't going to be the last. So I'm unsure of what the hell's happening yet.
No idea, but
I think it's because it is such a massive change up.
Yeah.
Like obviously you've got the writers have probably planned out to a degree, but then obviously you get certain people leaving the franchise in general. So like, okay, we can't have this character in. Then you'll get Guardians debacle. Then you get again influx of all these new characters. Like, hold up, this is a lot to try and mix into a cohesive.
Yeah, which is
thing.
why I think they're going to start doing it in the next phase, which should be probably about 2022, 2023.
I mean, I'm not sure.
Well, I say the next phase. Like the next phase starts 2019, but I mean like after that one, because that one has already been decided. That's focusing on like Captain Marvel, Thor, Doctor Strange, Hulk.
I mean, arguably, what we're going to do is they'll set up the main group.
Yeah.
Because that's obviously what the first phase done.
Yeah, so they're setting up the main group of Avengers for the next phase, and then they'll bring in some more, because Ant-Man's going to probably play a big role in it as well, I imagine. I
mean, the issue with X-Men is it's never just the X-Men.
Yeah.
It's all like additional shit, and it's so fucking complicated.
Yeah, and you've also got like timelines and stuff to deal with.
I mean, the best explanation I've heard of is eventually how we're going to bridge it is if Fox do, obviously, like once they've bought out Fox, right? So if we continue with the X-Men series, right, one suggestion I've heard is eventually going to have like literally the Avengers versus X-Men. It's like somehow the realities will merge, like in a Scarlet Witch type thing, like a House of M, and it'll literally just be merging of the universes. Because it would be the easiest thing to do. Because that way you get fans who've watched the X-Men, and all that will still be canon. Fans have watched all Avengers, all Marvel stuff, and that'll still be canon. But then it'll be bridging it. Obviously, the only way that does conflict it somehow is certain characters are doubled. Well, like
Quicksilver.
Unfortunately, yeah. A myth. So this is what gets me as well. Obviously, Quicksilver's sister is Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch is yet to have been brought into the X-Men series. However, the little sister Polaris is in it, so it's kind of very unsure of what the hell's going on there at all.
Yeah, but we could see that, and if that happens, we will also see Hugh Jackman reprise his role as Wolverine.
Oh.
Kevin Feige has already stated that if X-Men joined the MCU, Hugh Jackman would be allowed to take back his role as Wolverine. And Hugh Jackman said he doesn't want to play Wolverine anymore unless it's in the MCU.
Because that would be very definite, admittedly. Because I meant we've tried to make, Ryan Reynolds has tried to make with the whole Deadpool / Wolverine kind of thing. Personally, what I'd want is for him to come back literally for one more movie, right? Admittedly, screws up the timeline. One more movie, but it's official bringing in of either the X-23 properly, or the dawning of the new Wolverine, which would be Angela Kinney, which is X-23, but as with the whole gallop.
Yeah.
Because that's the only thing we've ever not gotten for Wolverine. We've got everything else, but his proper costume, which pisses everyone off because it looks so badass. Oh god, it looks so badass, and they don't use it.
But yeah, that's so if they do the crossover, we would, as long as he's not got any other projects on the go, we would see him reprising.
Jackman, for all we know, could be singing and stuff. That's crazy. Yeah. I mean, the only thing that could be good of the Netflix shows getting tanked is, for instance, how to word this properly. The reputation of Daredevil was shit after Affleck. Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed the film, but looking back, you can see why it trashed it.
Yeah.
Whereas Charlie Cox, his interpretation of it was fucking amazing. As soon as I found out that he actually didn't know the character was blind until the day before audition, so he improvised all that shit, and that's acting talent. The fight scenes on par. So yeah, he's brought back interest in Daredevil. And then you get like Punisher as well. His string of movies were good, but it was like trashy good.
Mm-hmm.
And now with John Bernthald's interpretation, you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
So hopefully this will then get shown and whenever their next iterations occur.
Yeah. I would like to see if all the Marvel stuff is going to Disney Plus, I'd like to see the Netflix shows go over as well as any shows that are on Hulu or Fox TV.
Mm-hmm.
Like not for like Disney's profit or anything like that, but
just have it in one place.
Yeah, a cohesive place to find it all.
Yeah.
And also things like I know, like, I think Cloak and Dagger's on Hulu, right? Now I really struggle to get access to Hulu over here. Like I anytime I've tried to watch anything on Hulu, it's like you must be in the United States to watch this. I'm like, well, fuck off then.
Basically.
So I don't actually like. I've got to the point where it's like so much stuff that I wanted to watch on Hulu is like restricted to US audiences that I've given up just trying to watch things on Hulu.
I get you, man.
Like, I even paid for like 3 months subscription to it, and like that's only because I paid for a subscription. Tried to watch a couple of shows. All of them said you must be in the United States.
God damn.
And then for like the next 2-3 months, I forgot to cancel my subscription.
You're an idiot.
Yeah. Hell, I hardly watch anything on Now TV. I've still got my subscription just in case I ever decide to watch a movie.
Nah, I don't do it. Fuck that.
I pay £9 a month for it.
I mean, the only things I pay for are Netflix, because Netflix.
I don't pay for Netflix. My sister pays for Netflix.
Regardless, there's always something in Netflix you want to watch. Amazon, not as much, but sometimes I'll either have a series that's just epic.
Constantine on Amazon's
My man. Or it's got newest movies. So sometimes just like, that looks good. That's £4 to rent, £5 to rent. Sound.
But the thing with that Amazon Prime Video though, is you get that free with your Amazon Prime membership for your next day delivery, and I've got a Kindle, so I get Kindle Unlimited. You get Amazon Music, Amazon Movies, like because we've set up the home, the family plan.
Okay.
So me, my sister, and my brother, all our Amazon accounts are linked together.
All right. Okay.
So Yvette, I think Yvette's the one paying for Prime just now. So because she's paying for Prime, I get Prime, Harry gets Prime. If she stops paying it and I start paying it, we all still get Prime.
Fair enough. Not bad. The only other thing I actually pay for streaming wise is Crunchyroll.
I was going to.
It does vary, I'm not going to lie. I was considering cancelling it, but then I realised I bought it for a year. So I was like, I've got enough for 5 months left. Fuck it.
I was going to subscribe for Crunchyroll, but it's that way. I really enjoy watching anime. I really struggle to find a series that I want to sit and binge.
I've only got 2 so far, and everything else I don't like. It's only 2 that I consistently think we're wildly different, but I think they're good different. It's like one was like that time I got reincarnated as a slime. Stupid, funny, intelligent. I want to say, and it's writing, and also characters are fun. So I want to check out. Another one is wildly different. It's harrowing. It's creepy. The fight scenes are gory as fuck.
It's Attack on Titan.
Fuck no. It's Goblin Slayer. Goblin Slayer has one of the most harrowing first episodes I've ever seen.
See, because I know of 2 animes I would watch on Crunchyroll if they're on Crunchyroll. And one is Attack on Titan. And the other one's One Piece.
One Piece I'd love to watch. I only ever got to episode 60 and then I couldn't find it again.
I got to episode 270 something.
Fuck's sake.
And then I got bogged down with college.
Got you.
And then I decided I'm going to finish it off. Could not remember what point I'd left off at. Watched 3 episodes and then gave up because I was playing One Piece Pirate Warriors instead.
Fuck.
No, I'm gonna get back into watching it eventually.
The only downside of Crunchyroll is it had a deal with Funimation to get certain anime. It's now going elsewhere for it, so I don't know what they're gonna do because they're gonna lose some primo content.
Yeah, well, Funimation, they currently do Pokemon.
Don't care.
Well,
the only one I did from them was Pokemon Red or some shit.
One Piece.
I think they did One Piece. I think they also did Attack on Titan. I'm not sure.
Wouldn't be surprised if they did Attack on Titan.
And Boku no Hero Academy.
Hold on a second.
No bother. Basically, if it's kind of popular anime right now.
Funimation. Shows. Right, let's see what shows do Funimation do. Tokyo Ghoul.
That was a good one.
No, don't. Oh, here we go. Fairy Tail. Black Clover. That time I got reincarnated as a slime.
Shit, no.
Certain Magical Index. Goblin Slayer. Golden Kamui. Radiant. SSS Gridman. Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai.
See, that sounds pervy. It's actually weird. I've not watched any of it. I've just seen a wee bit of a trailer and I'm like,
Ace Attorney.
I only care about the only 2 I've mentioned.
Let's see. Any other ones you would know? Maybe not. Conception, Zombieland Saga, Rewrited, Space Battleship Tiramisu, and Hinamaru Sumo, Senran Kagura, Ulysses, Jeanne d'Arc, and The Alchemist Knight. I think that's meant to be the Arc, like
Oh, like Arc.
Joan of Arc.
Oh, right, getcha.
Jeanne d'Arc. A double decker, Doug and Carol. That's the ones that, at least on the Funimation website, those are the ones that are there.
So yeah, basically, I don't know what we're gonna do to fill the deal because that is some actually top tier anime so far, at least presently.
As long as they don't go with 4Kids, because that's the company that done Pokemon season 1 and 2.
No, I mean the only ones I watched.
Yeah. And when I say what seasons 1 and 2, seasons 1 and 2 was purely the Indigo League, like Kanto.
Yeah, is that mental one that had the massive tentacruel? It literally covers the tidal wave. That was a cool season because that was crazy.
That goes all the way up to the end of the Kanto League.
Yeah, I watched that. I really enjoyed that actually.
Season 3 is the Orange Islands. The minute they set off for the Orange Islands, that's season 3. But when I say seasons 1 and 2, I mean like Kanto, Orange Islands.
Yeah. You tell it was completely different when you first watched it.
Yeah, just because I just go every time they change the name or region. So if they keep the same name but change region, that's a new season. If they change the name, it's a new region. So Pokemon Indigo League, season 1 and 2 was called Pokemon Indigo League.
Yeah,
officially. But everyone just called it Pokemon. Pokemon in the Orange Island was just called Pokemon. So it made those 3 seasons look like one season.
Yeah, it's not.
But I still count that as 2 seasons. Then you had Pokemon in Johto, and that was Pokemon. I think that might have also just been called Pokemon. I think the first one was the third game region, 4th region in the anime, which would have been after Johto. It's Hoenn, the one with May and Max.
Oh, gotcha. Right.
Which would have been Pokemon Advance. I think. But yeah, after the Orange Islands, I believe, if I remember correctly, it might have been later than that. But it was 4Kids, and they got a lot of translation errors wrong and stuff. Kind of, because a lot of the moves.
Yeah.
They based the name either off of the exact translation from Japanese,
which is generally a bad idea,
or based off of what the move looked like.
Really?
Well, Pokemon used takedown, and the trainer shouted use tackle.
Really?
But anyway, yeah. So that's something. That's an issue they had as well with that.
I mean, arguably, I wouldn't have such an issue with Pokemon if we just said one of 2 things. 1, have Ash Age. It makes sense. It's a continuing journey. Fine.
Yeah.
Or 2, if we're determined to say, like, okay, 3 things. Sorry, 3 things. Right. Have Ash Age. It makes sense. 2, if we're going to go for the whole bullshit thing of he made a wish on Ho-Ho in the very first day, and then he could always have a Pokemon adventure, just fucking state that. I'd be fine. It's like, he made a wish on a magic bird, and he's effectively always 10. Fine. It's canon, it makes sense, whatever. I've seen weirder anime. Or, if we're so determined to say this has all happened in 1 year, dates. I want dates and
Well,
fucking
The
times.
thing is, it hasn't all happened in just 1 year.
Yeah, now it's probably 2 years.
No, because the first movie,
Uh-huh.
which was set, I think midway through, it was set at the end of the official season 1.
Mhm.
So halfway through Indigo League. You see, Ash, Saint Pikachu, we've been together, we've been travelling for a year now. I'm going with the Ash is dead theory.
Oh, after the big bolt.
Well, he's not dead, he's in a coma.
That's interesting. That's in the lower theory,
I'm
yeah.
going with the Ash in the coma theory.
I mean, the only other thing that never tracked with me about Pokemon is Pikachu.
Yeah, honestly, I'm not that big a fan of Pikachu.
Oh, don't get me wrong, I don't really care for him. But logically, right, you get through all those leagues, all those battles, and it's always Pikachu, right? Every other Pokemon gets transferred. Like, I think you told me that. After you leave the region, you have to give up your Pokemon.
No, he doesn't have to. He
Alright.
opts to. No, when I say have to,
Mm-hmm.
I was talking about what they should do if they bring all the regions into the Switch game. It's coming out next year.
Okay. Right, okay. But generally, he's always got Pikachu, right? He's always had Pikachu. It's always the same Pikachu. You go through that many battles, that Pikachu's going to be OP.
Well, Pikachu's level, inverted commas,
Mm.
gets reset at the start of every new region.
That doesn't make sense.
It usually involves electromagnets or direct hit from a thunderbolt.
It sounds like torture. I don't get it.
Basically, there's such a build-up of electrical charge inside the Pikachu that by the time he discharges it all, he's back to essentially being a starter Pokemon. But still knows all the same moves. It just doesn't. Just all the stats have gone back to level 5.
Oh my god.
Yes,
What
I
the
know.
hell?
It's ridiculous, but that would explain why Pikachu couldn't use any electrical attacks against Trip Snivy in the Diamond and Pearl series of the anime, as well as why he was so weak against Trip Snivy when
Mhm.
using things like Quick Attack.
I mean, don't get me wrong, yeah, it would obviously upset the whole narrative of the story if Pikachu's OP, but it makes logical sense. You'd even have him, like, as a partner, right, on his shoulder all the time, that's fine, but obviously only use battling him if it's an actual danger. Anything else, just like Pikachu, you can just watch, as usual, because you're the master. But now it's like, Pikachu, don't get taken out by a Caterpie, oh no, like, what the fuck?
Anyway, I think we've been on this topic long enough.
Oh.
We did say we're going to go for 2 hours,
What we at?
3.5. It's also 20 to 2 in the morning,
I know, I'm dead inside.
which means we must have started recording this about 10 at night.
So clearly, well, we still have good intentions, we still ramble.
Yes.
And admittedly, well, Creepypastas were a great idea. They were quite long in themselves.
Yeah.
Like, what, half an hour each minimum?
Yeah, probably I'd say about that. Anyway, let's finish off with our the last thing we'd kind of last minute planned.
Okay, you need to
So
remind me.
the first one, the first one was I've forgotten. Oh, Christmas.
Alright, yeah.
Is there any games that you know you're getting, or think you might get, or hope you get? No need to say which category that falls in. Just when you open your presents Christmas Day, what do you hope to see?
I'm not gonna lie, I'm also got to a point in my life where either I've got the games, like I personally want, which means I'm quite happy, or any game I do like, I know I'm gonna get eventually. Like, not in that, rich way, I'm literally not. It's literally more of a, I'll get it eventually.
Yeah.
So I'm really chill. However, I do know what my folks have got me and James between us, which is the VR set. I do know we've got Skyrim for it.
Nice.
So I myself, not I'm a pure massive advocate of Skyrim. However, the idea of fucking swinging a sword or shooting a bow and arrow in VR sounds very good. So I'm quite looking forward to just doing that on Christmas Day. Only downside is me and James will have to take shots, and you know what that's like when you have to share. You're like, Okay, I'll have her for half an hour. You have her for half an hour. Da, da, da. Oh. So yeah, it'll be fun. Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be fucking cool. Yeah. So I'm looking more forward to more like, experience rather than the game, if that makes sense. Cause I know the game. I know it's very in depth, but again, I'm more gonna be like a pew pew fuck you dragon pew. Yeah.
If you're getting VR, I'm trying to talk Josh into getting a game for VR.
Okay.
That I've got. Let's go Star Trek Bridge Crew.
Yeah. Okay.
Now get a bunch of us playing it in VR.
That will be something I would very much be into once I can afford it.
If it goes on DVD, you definitely should get it.
Just saying, if anyone's wanting to employ, an recent English graduate, yeah, hit me up.
I think for myself, I've got, like you, I've got pretty much all the games I want. There's like 3 games I want that I don't have, and one of them I don't know what system I want it on.
That's like the best first world problem. Oh my God, like what do I really want to play this thing on? I don't care. Because like when I play it, just, what to play it on.
I want to get Diablo 3, right? I want to get it on the Switch.
Okay.
But if I get it on the PlayStation, I can play it with yourself. I can play it with my pal Koro and my pal Wisp. I can play it with folk if I get it on the PlayStation. But I really want it on the Switch.
What's the benefits of getting the Switch, though?
I can play it on the bus if I'm going into town. I can play it on the train if I'm going to visit my mum and my little brother and sister down south. I can play it on work on my break.
You can already play tons of games on the Switch.
Yeah, but still, it's another game I can play.
Lee.
I would like to Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes for PSVR.
That would be pretty cool. Sounds like a pure bitch to play.
Yeah, and World of Final Fantasy Maxima Edition. I have World of Final Fantasy for the PS4, but I want a Maxima Edition. Either that or Final Fantasy 15 Royal Edition for PS4, because I've got Final Fantasy 15. Well, I say I've got it. I've stole my brother's copy.
Terrible. You should get many games you guys must have between you. This is insane.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Especially because he has some of mine, I have some of his as well. I've got a couple of my sister's games down here, and I think she's got 2 or 3 of mine up theirs.
These are so lucky. These are all gamers, honestly.
Yeah, the games just get passed around.
It's like, you done it for sound.
Well, you should know you've joined in at times. You've given me Mortal Kombat Order 1866 and Doom, and my sister's given you Spider-Man.
I do apologise for Order 1866. Now, I had such high expectations for that game.
So did I.
And then you're like, yeah.
It just felt so slow, and I just couldn't be bothered.
Word, same. It's literally meant to be like a 4-hour game, and I couldn't even be fucked doing it. Like,
yeah, I played it for about 5 hours, and most of that was just exploring the world. But yeah, that was one of them, and the other one was I cannot remember.
Well, you clearly want it all so much.
No. I can't remember what the other topic was.
Oh, right off show. Yeah, the 2 topics.
Yeah.
Nah, man, I can't think. I'm actually half asleep.
You know what? I'm going to make it up for this point. Game of the year.
Well, we already know what the official game of the year is.
No, what's your game of the year?
Me personally, right now.
Best game of 2018.
I'm not too sure. Lately I've played a bit of Horizon Zero Dawn. I actually thought it was really good. I thought the controls were really good. I thought the actual weapon system that I had a look at was really intuitive.
Do I know your problem with that there? I'm pretty sure that launched last year.
Fair enough. Fuck, I'll go with Divinity 2 then. Divinity 2.
Divinity 2.
Playing that now is amazing. It's utterly amazing.
I'm gonna have to say mine is Pokemon Let's Go.
Shocking.
Oh, I've had an absolute blast with it. The wee while I've had it. Oh, that was it. That was the other one. I've said it. Um, yeah, no, I've had an absolute blast with it, and this ties into what I actually had in mind because we've been playing a lot of Pokemon Let's Go today
Mm-hmm.
since you arrived here, and it was going to be our thoughts of the game now that it's been out for a month and you've played for about 4 hours and I've played it for about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
See, I knew I would get it again.
Yeah. Okay, thoughts. Being player 2 is a pain in the ass.
Yes, it is.
But aside from that, it is really interesting. The only thing I kind of miss is actually battling wild Pokemon.
Yeah.
It's very different.
Yeah, because you still battle some wild Pokemon.
Seriously?
Well, we battled that wild Snorlax.
Yeah, don't remind me. Bastard got away.
But no, yeah, I totally agree. I do miss the battles.
It's kind of harder to grind at times as well because you can't battle wild ones. You have to like hunt out the proper battles.
Yeah, but you can, like, at the rate you can catch them.
It is very different.
And
the candies and stuff for stats is quite interesting.
And also, to be fair, I don't really need to grind right now.
Yeah, you're kind of OP.
We are kind of OP.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I think it's a good game, and I think it seems to be mostly a way to capitalize on the popularity of Pokemon Go.
Definitely.
And encourage people who don't already own a Switch, who want to play a mainline Pokemon game that's not Pokemon Go, to buy a Switch and get the game. And yeah, I hope that they add new regions.
Yeah, but my point,
I hope that they're either relatively well priced DLC.
Mm-hmm.
And when I say relatively well priced, I don't mean relatively expensive.
Yeah.
Like some people say when they go, oh, it was well priced, as in well high. No, I mean, appropriately priced.
Mm-hmm.
So like Orange Islands would probably be cheaper than like the other 7 regions and stuff.
Oh, okay, right. So instead of like a base price, you'd rather it be for content.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Obviously because the Orange Islands, while you've seen some new Pokemon,
Mm-hmm.
you didn't get all of them there.
Yeah, it wasn't like a full set kind of thing.
I think Misty found a Corsola there, and one of the I can't remember what they're called. The it's essentially gym leaders there.
All right.
Where one of them had a Kingdra, which is the evolved form of Seadra, which is a Gen 2 Pokemon.
Really?
Yeah.
Jesus, right?
So you could
yeah,
bring.
yeah. Sorry, yeah. I was thinking of a Horsey to Seadra. I was like, Seadra was an original one. Like, yeah, it's great.
But Kingdra's after that.
That was because that's a King's Rock. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So you would see these ones there as well.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously Tracy had the Marill right from the start.
Yeah, I remember that.
So you've seen a lot of these new Pokemon. Well, you got a taste of what kind of Pokemon you're going to be seeing in the next season.
Mm-hmm.
So you wouldn't add all of the Johto Pokemon, but you would add a fair few of them.
So it'd be like a weird blend kind of thing, which would be a bit off.
Just kind of ease and yen.
Yeah, if anything, that'd be like a additional section to any other DLC, I'd argue.
Either a prequel to
Yeah.
Johto or it would be free DLC for Kanto. I mean, I imagine they'll just release them all as separate games, but I would like to actually see them become DLC for the game.
And what ideally I'd like to see is obviously when you open up your map, right, you get the map of was it Kanto region?
Kanto.
It'd be cooler, like if it got to a point where you could like just kind of go, like kind of scroll
Yeah.
to get to the next map, and then you could do like a world view if you get all of them, and just you can pop out and literally see them all placed around like a proper world. You'd be like, so this is there, that's there.
Although I would not allow fly to be used.
Well, nah, after a point
between regions.
How do you mean?
You can't fly from the Johto League to the Johto region to the.
Oh, you need
Kanto
to get a
region
proper
or Kanto to Orange Islands or Orange Islands to Kalos or.
unless you went and made like a special thing for it, like a special Pokemon or something.
Well, in
Like you have to like
'cause
pay for.
in Gold and Silver, you could go back to Kanto.
Yeah.
You had to use the train or walk through Mount Silver.
Oh fuck! Right. Yeah.
Do that. Do that for every region.
Mm.
Have public transport systems, train, boat, and plane,
Mm.
for getting between various regions. And
That makes
depending on
sense.
which region you want to go from which region,
Mm.
defines which mode of transport you take.
And give you a kind of flavour of the thing to come as well.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of cool. Yeah. I'd be up for
But yeah, that's what I would like to see. If we do go forward. But yeah, no, I'm really, really enjoying the game.
Mhm.
It is a shame that it's too easy to level up though, because it's far too easy to level up.
that. Yeah, we've kind of hit the bit now where you're kind of like meeting people your level. So you
Yeah.
can like, yeah, you're gonna have to do something special.
Yeah. And also like with Pikachu's was it called Zippy Zap? That's essentially Volt Tackle. It always hits first, always lands a critical hit and gets stab damage. And if you're facing something that's water type,
Why
it's
bother?
type effectiveness as well. I mean, that move is just OP. Especially when your special attack is pure massive.
Mm.
But anyway, I think I'm gonna
Call it.
call it there.
Yeah.
Anyway, that has been us here at Gaming Kin. As always, I've been Jack. That has been Mark.
Hello and goodbye.
And there's always room for you here at Gaming Kin if you want to be our friend.
Ciao.
Stay safe out there.